मधुरा यष्टिर्मधुरा शिष्टिर्मधुरा दलितं मधुरं फलितं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम् अधरं मधुरं वदनं मधुरं नयनं मधुरं हसितं मधुरं हृदयं मधुरं गमनं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्। बोलिए वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय। थोड़ा इसका वो बढ़ा दो साउंड। और ये साथ बढ़ा दो थोड़ा सा साथ में। नहीं इसका तो ज़्यादा ही होता है। इसका बेकार होता है, इसका आना जरूरी है। जगत जननी मैया की जय। जय दुर्गे दुर्गति परिहारिणी, जय दुर्गे दुर्गति परिहारिणी, जय दुर्गे दुर्गति परिहारिणी। शुंभ विदारिणी मात भवानी, शुंभ विदारिणी मात भवानी। जय दुर्गे दुर्गति परिहारिणी, जय दुर्गे दुर्गति परिहारिणी। आदिशक्ति परब्रह्म स्वरूपिणी, आदिशक्ति परब्रह्म स्वरूपिणी। जगत जननी चहूँ वेद बखानी, जगत जननी चहूँ वेद बखानी। जय दुर्गे दुर्गति परिहारिणी, जय दुर्गे दुर्गति परिहारिणी। शिव हरि अर्चन कीने, ब्रह्मा शिव हरि अर्चन कीनो। ध्यान धरत सुर नर मुनि ज्ञानी, ध्यान धरत सुर नर मुनि ज्ञानी। जय दुर्गे दुर्गति परिहारिणी, जय दुर्गे दुर्गति परिहारिणी। अष्टभुजा कर खड्ग विराजे, अष्टभुजा कर खड्ग विराजे। सिंह सवार सकल बरदानी, सिंह सवार सकल बरदानी। जय दुर्गे दुर्गति
दुर्गति परिहारिणी जय दुर्गे दुर्गति परिहारिणी जय दुर्गे दुर्गति परिहारिणी शुंभ विदारिणी मात भवानी शुंभ विदारिणी मात भवानी जय दुर्गे दुर्गति परिहारिणी जय दुर्गे दुर्गति परिहारिणी ब्रह्मानंद शरण में आयो ब्रह्मानंद 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 शरण में आयो ब्रह्मानंद शरण में आयो ब्रह्मानंद शरण में आयो भव दुख नाश करो महारानी भव दुख नाश करो महारानी जय दुर्गे दुर्गति परिहारिणी जय दुर्गे दुर्गति परि शुंभ विदारिणी मात भवानी शुंभ विदारिणी मात भवानी जय दुर्गे दुर्गति परिहारिणी जय दुर्गे दुर्गति परिहारिणी जय दुर्गे दुर्गति परिहारिणी जय दुर्गे दुर्गति परिहारिणी बोलिए जगत जननी दुर्गा मैया की जय कामाख्या माता की जय तबला में आनंद नहीं आया तबला में आनंद नहीं आया
क्या
प्रभु जी तुम मेरा हाथ न छोड़ो प्रभु जी तुम मेरा हाथ न छोड़ो प्रभु जी तुम मेरा साथ न छोड़ो हाथ न छोड़ो साथ न छोड़ो हाथ न छोड़ो साथ न छोड़ो तुम मेरा हाथ न छोड़ो प्रभु जी तुम मेरा साथ न छोड़ो तेरे बिना कुछ कर ना पाऊं तेरे बिना कुछ कर ना पाऊं चलते चलते ठोकर खाऊं चलते चलते ठोकर खाऊं साथ सभी का छूटे सभी का छूटे चाहे तुम मेरा साथ न छोड़ो। प्रभु जी तुम मेरा हाथ न छोड़ो, हाथ न छोड़ो, साथ न छोड़ो, हाथ न छोड़ो, साथ न छोड़ो। प्रभु जी तुम मेरा हाथ न छोड़ो, प्रभु जी तुम मेरा साथ न छोड़ो। सुख आए तो ना हरसाओ, सुख आए तो ना हरसाओ, दुख आए तो ना घबराओ, दुख आए तो ना घबराओ। सुख में न फूलो, दुख में न भूलो, सुख में न फूलो, दुख में न भूलो। मुझसे मुख ना मोड़ो, मुझसे मुख न मोड़ो। प्रभु जी तुम मेरा हाथ न छोड़ो, प्रभु जी तुम मेरा साथ न छोड़ो। हाथ न छोड़ो, साथ न छोड़ो, हाथ न छोड़ो, साथ न छोड़ो। प्रभु जी तुम मेरा हाथ न छोड़ो, प्रभु जी तुम मेरा साथ न छोड़ो, प्रभु जी तुम मेरा हाथ न छोड़ो। तू है दयामय, दया की मूरत, तू है दयामय, दया की मूरत। मन में बस जाए तेरी सूरत, मन में बस जाए तेरी सूरत। मेरी बिगड़ी अब बन जाए, मेरी बिगड़ी अब बन जाए। मेरा ये विश्वास न तोड़ो, मेरा ये विश्वास न तोड़ो। प्रभु जी तुम मेरा हाथ न छोड़ो, प्रभु जी तुम मेरा साथ न छोड़ो, प्रभु जी तुम मेरा हाथ न छोड़ो। हाथ न छोड़ो, साथ न छोड़ो, हाथ न छोड़ो, साथ न छोड़ो। प्रभु जी तुम मेरा हाथ न छोड़ो, प्रभु जी तुम मेरा साथ न छोड़ो, प्रभु जी तुम मेरा हाथ न छोड़ो, प्रभु जी तुम मेरा साथ न छोड़ो, प्रभु जी तुम मेरा हाथ न छोड़ो, प्रभु जी तुम मेरा साथ न छोड़ो।
कब तक पहुँचेंगे गुरु जी?
चलूँगा। जहाँ ले चलोगे वहीं मैं चलूँगा। ओ जहाँ ले चलोगे वहीं मैं चलूँगा। जहाँ नाथ रख लोगे ओ जहाँ नाथ रख लोगे वहीं मैं रहूँगा। जहाँ ले चलोगे वहीं मैं चलूँगा। जहाँ ले चलोगे वहीं मैं चलूँगा। ये जीवन समर्पित चरण में तुम्हारे, तुम ही मेरे सर्वस्व, तुम ही प्राण प्यारे। ओ ये जीवन समर्पित चरण में तुम्हारे, तुम ही मेरे सर्वस्व, तुम ही प्राण प्यारे। तुम्हें छोड़ कर मैं किसी से कहूँगा। जहाँ ले चलोगे वहीं मैं चलूँगा। जहाँ ले चलोगे वहीं मैं चलूँगा। जहाँ नाथ रख लोगे, जहाँ नाथ रख लोगे वहीं मैं रहूँगा। जहाँ ले चलोगे वहीं मैं चलूँगा। जहाँ ले चलोगे वहीं मैं चलूँगा। बोलिए सद्गुरुदेव भगवान की जय। जीवन समर्पित चरण में तुम्हारी, तुम ही मेरे सर्वस्व, तुम ही प्राण प्यारी। ओ, ओ, ये जीवन समर्पित चरण में तुम्हारी, तुम ही मेरे सर्वस्व, तुम ही प्राण प्यारे। तुम्हें छोड़ कर मैं किसी से कहूँगा। जहाँ ले चलोगे वहीं मैं चलूँगा। जहाँ ले चलोगे वहीं मैं चलूँगा। जहाँ नाथ रख लोगे, जहाँ नाथ रख लोगे वहीं मैं रहूँगा। जहाँ ले चलोगे वहीं मैं चलूँगा। जहाँ ले चलोगे वहीं मैं चलूँगा। चलोगे वहीं मैं चलूँगा, जहाँ ले चलोगे वहीं मैं चलूँगा। खुशी से सहूँगा, जहाँ ले चलोगे वहीं मैं चलूँगा, जहाँ ले चलोगे वहीं मैं चलूँगा। जहाँ नाथ रख लोगे, जहाँ नाथ रख लोगे वहीं मैं रहूँगा, जहाँ ले चलोगे वहीं मैं चलूँगा, जहाँ ले चलोगे वहीं मैं चलूँगा। तुम्हारे ही दिन है, तुम्हारी ही रातें, कृपा दृष्टि सब है प्रभु की कृपा से। तुम्हारे ही दिन है, तुम्हारी ही रातें, कृपा दृष्टि सब है प्रभु की कृपा से। नारायण प्रभु प्रेम, नारायण प्रभु प्रेम पावन कहूँगा, जहाँ ले चलोगे वहीं मैं चलूँगा, जहाँ ले चलोगे वहीं मैं चलूँगा। जहाँ नाथ रख लोगे, जहाँ नाथ रख लोगे वहीं मैं रहूँगा, जहाँ ले चलोगे वहीं मैं चलूँगा, जहाँ ले चलोगे वहीं मैं चलूँगा, जहाँ ले चलोगे वहीं मैं चलूँगा, जहाँ ले चलोगे वहीं मैं चलूँगा। बोलिए सद्गुरुदेव भगवान की जय।
बहुत उत्तम। एक शिष्य गुरु से क्या कहता है कि जहाँ ले चलोगे वहीं मैं चलूंगा, और गुरु अपने ईश्वर से कहता है कि इस शिष्य की विडंबना को समझो, और ईश्वर से प्रार्थना करता है कि ये जो शिष्य जो चाहता है तो उसे अवश्य मिलना चाहिए। ज्यादा विलंब न करते हुए हम इस कार्यक्रम को आरंभ करने जा रहे हैं। हमारे बीच परम आराध्य गुरु जी धर्म रत्न गोलोक विराजीश्वर परम पूज्य स्वामी श्री गोपाल जी देवाचार्य मौजूद हैं। मैं अनुरोध करूंगा श्री विनोद जी अग्रवाल से, हमारे गोलोक परिवार के अध्यक्ष से, कि उनको मंचासीन करने के लिए मंच पर लेके आए।
गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुदेवो महेश्वर, गुरुर्साक्षात् परं ब्रह्मा तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तमेन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। बोले सद्गुरुदेव भगवान की जय।
अब मैं गोलोक परिवार के कार्यकारी अध्यक्ष से अनुरोध करूंगा कि हमारे बीच अमेरिका के जॉर्ज टाउन यूनिवर्सिटी के प्रख्यात व्याख्याता पूज्य ब्रह्मचारी ब्रजविहारी शरण जी मौजूद हैं, उन्हें वो मंचासीन करें। एक बार जोरदार तालियों से इनका स्वागत जरूर करें। जब तक जिन्हें हम बुला करके मंत्रासन नहीं करते हैं तब तक तालियां बजनी चाहिए। तालियों के पीछे भी एक राज है कि जब हम ताली बजाते हैं तो हमारे शरीर की नाड़ियां एक्टिवेट होती है, खुलती है, हमारी बीमारियां खत्म होती है। अब मैं अनुरोध करूंगा श्रीमती कृति सुरेखा से कृपया मंच पे आए और धर्मरत्न गोलोक पीठाधीश्वर परम पूज्य स्वामी श्री गोपाल शरण जी देवाचार्य का परिचय दें। हालांकि वो परिचय के मोहताज नहीं है, लेकिन फिर भी आगंतुक जितने भी गेस्ट हैं उनको परिचय कराना जरूरी है।
आदरणीय गुरुदेव को मेरा प्रणाम। स्नेही स्वजन, हमारे गुरुदेव का परिचय देना एक सूर्य को दीपक दिखाने के बराबर है। फिर भी एक छोटी सी कोशिश करने जा रही हूँ। धर्मरत्न गोलोक नाम पीठाधीश्वर श्री स्वामी गोपाल शरण जी देवाचार्य जी को सन 2009 में हिंदू नवजागरण पुरस्कार से सम्मानित किया गया था। स्वामी जी निम्बारक संप्रदाय के 4 पारंपरिक वैष्णव शिक्षकों में से एक हैं। इनके अथक प्रयासों से दुनिया भर में 100 से भी ज्यादा मंदिरों का निर्माण हुआ। इनका कम से कम 108 मंदिरों का निर्माण करने का संकल्प है। जब स्वामी जी सिर्फ 5 वर्ष के थे तब एक प्रसिद्ध साधु ने उनके माता पिता से संपर्क किया और कहा कि यह एक विशेष बच्चा है, परंतु इस लड़के की मृत्यु से मुठभेड़ काफी करीबी होगी और यह तभी जीवित रह पाएगा जब वह एक संत की देखरेख में शुद्ध आध्यात्मिक जीवन जिएगा। चिंतित लेकिन विश्वास से भरे उनके माता पिता उन्हें वृंदावन शहर की पवित्र यात्रा के लिए ले गए। वह बच्चे को निम्बार्क संप्रदाय के श्री स्वामी श्री ललिता शरण जी देवाचार्य के पास ले गए। जब युवा लड़का आश्रम में पहुंचा तो वह खुशी, चंचलता और आराम से अभिभूत हो गया, मानो उसे ऐसा लगा कि अपना खोया हुआ घर मिल गया। स्वामी ललिता शरण जी महाराज लड़के को पवित्र यमुना नदी के किनारे ले गए और घोषणा की कि आज इस लड़के का नव जीवन आरंभ हुआ है। लड़के के आश्रम में चले जाने के कुछ समय बाद ही मृत्यु की भविष्यवाणी पूरी हो गई। यह एक ग्रहण के दौरान था। उस समय ज्योतिषियों ने भयानक और अशुभ संकेत दिए थे। एक दिन तैरने में असमर्थ यह बालक यमुना में भजन गाते गाते स्नान कर रहा था कि कभी अचानक से नदी का प्रवाह प्रबल हो उठा और वह डूबने लगा। आवाज सुनकर वहां एक साधु ने उसे बाहर निकाला। पवित्र पुरुषों की संगति में होने के कारण उनका जीवन बच गया। 7 वर्ष की आयु में इन्होंने सन्यासी बनने के लिए अपनी पहली प्रतिज्ञा दी। उन्होंने संस्कृत और वेदांत का अध्ययन करने के लिए एक किशोर के रूप में बनारस हिंदू विश्वविद्यालय में दाखिला लिया और उच्च शिक्षा ग्रहण की। उनके गुरु ने उनकी सरलता को देखकर उन्हें एक निर्देश दिया कि एक संत, एक पेड़, एक नदी, एक पहाड़ और पृथ्वी, ये मौजूद है सिर्फ और सिर्फ दुनिया और जनजीवन के कल्याण के लिए। उनकी दीक्षा के बाद स्वामी गोपाल शरण जी ने अपना मंत्रालय शुरू किया, अपनी संस्कृत की पढ़ाई पूरी की और आने वाले दिनों की तैयारी गुवाहाटी शाखा का गठन किया था और आज उन्हीं की देखरेख में यह परिवार फल फूल रहा है। थैंक यू।
धन्यवाद प्रीति जी। जैसा कि नियम है, भारतीय परंपरा है कि जब भी कोई गुरु महाराज आते हैं तो उनका स्वागत करते हैं। तो इसी कड़ी में मैं अनुरोध करूंगा गोलोक परिवार के कार्यकारी अध्यक्ष श्री रवि सुरेखा जी को कृपया उन्हें स्वागत बुलाकर उनका सम्मान करें। कृपया जोरदार तालियों से स्वागत करना चाहिए, क्योंकि आपकी तालियां हमकी भी पड़नी चाहिए। मैं अनुरोध करूंगा श्री राहुल हनुका से कृपया मंच पे आए और गुरु जी को असमिया प्रोग्राम मंचा से उनका सम्मान करें। अब हमारे अध्यक्ष के सुपुत्र श्री मनीष जी अग्रवाल से मैं अनुरोध करूंगा कृपया मंच पे आएं और गुरु जी को गजरा पहनाकर उनका सम्मान करें। हो गया। कहते हैं श्रद्धा ज्ञान देती है, नम्रता मान देती है और योग्यता स्थान देती है, पर तीनों मिल जाए तो व्यक्ति को हर जगह सम्मान देती है। हमारे बीच परम पूज्य स्वामी श्री गोपाल शरण जी देवाचार्य अमेरिका से पधारे पूज्य ब्रह्मचारी ब्रज बिहारी शरण जी का के मौजूद हैं, तो उनका परिचय पाठ करने के लिए मैं श्री रजत देवड़ा से अनुरोध करूंगा कृपया मंच पे आएं और उनको उनका परिचय दें।
Thank you everyone for joining us this evening. Today's talk has been organized by one single motive. Our dharma has been subjected to many foreign misinterpretations, which has led to numerous misunderstandings and conflictions. The end result being a trend of disconnection of our own generation with our own dharma. How do we bring about a change? A change to realign our dharma with values that will bring benefits to the lives of Hindus in the contemporary world, in our world. To illustrate this, the topic of science versus superstition was selected. And to answer our question, we are pleased to introduce Dr. Brahmachari Sharan. Dr. Sharan completed traditional Gurukul studies before returning to the UK, where he pursued his master's and doctoral studies from the University of Edinburgh and Oxford. Since that time, he has served as a lecturer in Asian Studies at Cardiff University, a senior teaching fellow in Sanskrit at the University of London, and honorary Hindu chaplain at the University of Edinburgh. In 2016, he was invited to become the first ever director of Dharmic Life at Georgetown University in Washington, D.C. It is the oldest Catholic university in America, mind you. He also serves as a professor in the School of Foreign Services and in the Department of Linguistics. He has given lectures at various universities and even at the British Parliament, and has welcomed Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth on behalf of Hindus in the United Kingdom. He holds the title of Yagyacharya and serves as an advisor to the United Kingdom Council of Hindu Pandits and American Association of Hindu Chaplains. One interesting fact, we all hear about the conversions and about the growing effect of churches being constructed in Hindu-dominated areas. He is working towards something which will actually amaze you. In the University of Georgetown, they are contemplating to make a Hindu temple inside the university, which is a very big thing, sir. So I can go on about his introduction, but I think I'll call in Ajay ji for taking the program forward. Ajay ji.
कहते हैं कि कुछ लोग थे जो वक्त के सांचे में ढल गए, कुछ लोग थे जो वक्त के सांचे में ढल गए, और कुछ लोग हैं जो वक्त के सांचे बदल गए. द ओनली हिंदू मॉन्क टू प्रीच इन क्रिश्चियन यूनिवर्सिटी, दिस इज ग्रेट. मैं उनका भी स्वागत करना चाहूँगा. मैं श्री पंकज झुंझुनवाला, है क्या झुंझुनवाला, पृथु झुंझुनवाला से अनुरोध करूंगा कृपया मंच पे आए और उन्हें साल उड़ा करके उनका सम्मान करें. साथ ही मैं श्री विनय खंडेलवाल से भी अनुरोध करूंगा कृपया मंच पे आए और उन्हें असमिया फुलम गमछा पहनाकर उनका स्वागत करें. मैं श्री आशीष देवड़ा से भी अनुरोध करूंगा कृपया मंच पे आएं और उन्हें माला पहना करके, गजरा पहना के उनका स्वागत करें. कार्यक्रम के शुभारंभ में तालियां नहीं बज रही है. पीछे वालों को भूख लगी हुई है क्या? पीछे से तालियां नहीं आ रही है क्या बात? हमारे बीच कार्यक्रम शुरू होने से पहले हमें इतना अच्छा भजन सुनाया, अधूरम मधुरम. हमारे बीच है नवीन जी और भंडारी जी. मैं अनुरोध करता हूं श्री महेश अग्रवाल सुरेखा से कृपया मंच पे आए और नवीन जी का फुलाम गमछा पहना के स्वागत करें. दूसरा नाम की कोई? मैं निखिल देवड़ा से भी अनुरोध करूंगा कृपया मंच पे आए और भंडारी जी का स्वागत करें फुलाम गमछा पहना के. अब इंतजार की घड़ियां खत्म होती है और हम लोग जिस लिए आए हैं उनकी घड़ियां चालू होती हैं. एक बार जोरदार तालियों से श्री बिहारी चरण जी का दोबारा से स्वागत करेंगे और उनसे अनुरोध करेंगे कि कृपया अपना व्याख्यान प्रस्तुत करें. माइक, स्टैंड माइक दे दो, स्टैंड दे दो. हाँ, हेलो, स्टैंड माइक दे दो.
अजय जी एक अनाउंसमेंट कर दो, मोबाइल फ़ोन साइलेंट.
यहाँ पे
नवीन जी और दोनों बैठ जैसे
दोस्तों एक बात मैं आपसे शेयर करना चाहूँगा, क्या आप शेयर करने में इंटरेस्टेड हो? छोटी सी रिक्वेस्ट करूं, कृपया अपने अपने मोबाइल को या तो साइलेंट में कर दें या बंद कर दें, नहीं तो यहाँ के व्याख्यान का आप आनंद कभी नहीं उठा पाओगे। ठीक है? क्या मेरी बात से आप एग्री हो? हाथ उठा के बताएंगे। सबने अपने मोबाइल को स्विच ऑफ या साइलेंट में कर दिया? अब हम चलते हैं पूज्य ब्रह्मचारी ब्रज बिहारी जी शरण जी के पास। और भाईटी यार पूरा माइक उठाई तीन दीवो परिसिला
ये तैयार
नहीं दे रहे वो
पहले लगाना चाहिए ना अपना।
श्री वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की
जय।
श्री कामाख्या देवी की जय। श्री शुक्लेश्वर महादेव की, श्री रानी सती दादी की। ओम नमः पार्वती पतये हर हर महादेव। जय जय श्री राधे। Tell me something before I start. Should I treat you as MA, PhD students, or should I try introductory level? Introductory level? PhD level? Introductory. Chalo. So, introductory then PhD. Right. So, thoda sa shuru karne ke liye, want to start with the nice vibrations in the hall. So, can we all sit up straight? Those are lovely business class looking seats. And those business class looking seats are good at putting people to sleep. So let's sit up nice and straight and for one moment close our eyes. Aankhein band kar le 1 minute. Try and relax your body. I don't mean relax as in fall asleep. I mean relax as in relax the muscles in your body. Relax your feet, your arms, your shoulders, your back. Everything should sink comfortably into that seat. And what the Americans called controlled breathing exercises, basically a translation for what we call pranayam. Let's take one very deep breath in and exhale. Inhale, exhale, inhale final time, and we exhale with Om. Om. Just remain with those vibrations and slowly open your eyes. It's a pleasure to be with you all here tonight. And because time is running away from us, I want to make sure that we stay on time. I also want, if you can, I know all of you have smartphones. They're smarter than me and you put together, don't worry. But if you can, note down any questions that come up during our discussion this evening as we go along, so that you can ask them once I'm done. And I want to give more time to your questions rather than me, because I know what I want to talk about, but I'm more interested in hearing what the people of Guwahati want to hear about. Offering my pranams and obeisances to Sri Sadgurudev Ji Maharaj, and my deepest thanks and gratitude to Sri Golok Parikar Guwahati, Sri Vinod Ji, and everybody else who have arranged at the family of the Devaras where we're staying, and everyone who has worked very hard over the past few months to arrange this program here in Guwahati. And to each and every one of you, from the youngest, I'm sure is about 4 or 5, to the youngest at heart, who I'm sure I don't want to say their age, to everybody who has taken the time out on this busy Sunday evening, I bid you all Jai Jai Shri Radhe Shyam. So, this evening I was tasked with giving you a very deep talk, and this talk was supposed to be about science versus superstition. Somebody didn't ask the question, why not spirituality versus superstition? Why science? We'll get to that in a moment. The reason that I thought that this was a good topic when they suggested it to me was because I can see in the United States of America what blind faith and what superstition can do to populations. Blind faith and superstition are something that has been talked about plentifully, and we've seen here, whether it be in India, whether it be in America, whether it be in the United Kingdom, what blind faith can do to people. But then people say, well, what is faith? Isn't faith blind? I said, what do you mean? They said, well, you're believing in something you can't see. You're believing in something you've never experienced. You're doing it because mom and dad said so, or grandma, granddad said so, or auntie, uncle said so. So surely that's blind faith. And you know, by our own standards, by our own Upanishadic standards, that statement is correct. By our own Upanishadic standards, that statement is correct. I want to ask you something. What do you think the purpose of our dharma is? When I ask this to my students, I want you to get your mental juices flowing now. When I ask this to my student says the purpose of dharma is to give us good morals. I said, actually, the thing that gives us good morals now is the United Nations Charter of Human Rights. The United Nations Charter of Human Rights, our country's own laws, that's good enough to give us good morals. So then what is dharma supposed to do for us? Well, if you look at what dharma does, if you understand dharma to be religion, then you could say, well, look at the Middle East. Look at Kashmir. Everywhere that there is a difference between dharmas, there is only war and fighting. So that is definitely what dharma's duty has done. Whatever it was in the past, whatever it was intended to be, now all that dharma is the cause of strife and turmoil. Therefore we should let go of all of these things and just be good human beings. Surely in being good human beings, we've done everything that our dharma has asked us to do. Okay, I will take that. And then I'll ask you another question. That question is very simple. Do you feel at peace? Do you feel happy with your life? Especially at your ages, when you've finished university, when you've started your own businesses, or when you've taken on businesses and you have your family, do you have that peace, that happiness that everybody promised you? It was one thing after another, no? When you were बच्चे, माँ कहती थी ना, स्कूल जाओ. क्यों स्कूल जाएं? क्योंकि अच्छे मार्क्स लाने. अच्छे मार्क्स लाने से क्या होगा? We'll get good place in university. अच्छे place university में लाने से क्या होगा? You'll get a good job. अच्छे job होने से क्या होगा? You'll get a good salary. अच्छे सैलरी से क्या होगा? फिर क्या करोगे? Then you'll take care of your family, then you'll take care of your kids. Once you've taken care of your family and your kids, then what else is next? They said, well, then you'll take some time and travel. And then what's after that? Retirement. And after retirement, what is next? Relaxation. Bahut acha. But then I said to myself, in all of this, there's one thing after another, one thing after another. Where's the time for myself? Where's the time for myself? Where's the time for growth? Because surely all of that thing can be done by a robot as well, or by any other type of being. They can all progress in that same way, one thing after another. It's like, I don't know if you've ever seen those old Tom and Jerry cartoons, but have you ever seen when they want to make a donkey run, what do? Uske samne ek gajar latka dete. Right? So that donkey runs thinking that he'll get hold of this carrot, and the donkey will keep on running thinking that it will catch on to this carrot. He never gets the carrot, that's why he keeps running. That's what we do. We keep running because we think we'll get something that will make us happy. But then we get married, and the realities of married life start. When we were at home, our mothers and fathers used to take care of us. हमको कुछ भी नहीं करना पड़ता था ना जब हम बच्चे थे, right? If there was something that was on the ground, मान लो कि कोई दूध या कोई दही नीचे गिर गया, right? तो हम कहेंगे इसको हटा, इसको साफ करो, right? हमको अच्छा नहीं लगता था. Now you've become parents. What are you having to do? What are you having to clean up? Right? Forget becoming parents. Now that you people are professionals working in the business force, when one of your employees makes a mistake, what do you end up having to do? Clean up their mess. I said to myself that it's much more like we get our training in life how to clean other people's messes. Huh? So, are we just a glorified janitor? Is that our purpose for being on this planet? I would say no. I think there's a lot more for us to do. So I want to bring in at this point religion, right? This word religion from the Latin religio, which actually meant a set, a creed that was followed by a number of people. This word religion is thrown around, huh? Because at each of those steps, स्कूल जाने से पहले सरस्वती जी को नमन करो, राइट? नया बिजनेस शुरू करने से पहले गणेश जी की पूजा करो. बिजनेस अच्छा चले तो दिवाली पे लक्ष्मी जी की पूजा करो. What happens when the business goes down? Whose puja should you do then? Is there any down business wale Bhagwan ji? What is the purpose of all of these pujas that we're doing? Have we been able to understand what we were doing? And this is where I came across the word superstition, and I figured out that the cause of our superstitions currently is the transmission, the mode of transmission of our dharma. What that means, actually, we don't know. I will tell you a very simple story. And this story, actually, Sadhguru Devji Maharaj Ji told to me. Guruji went to a village, and in this village was a very nice family, and they were having a religious ceremony because they were going to start some new business, and they just bought the ground, and they had constructed a tent, and all you know how this Bhumi Pujan goes. At the Bhumi Pujan, they were doing this yajna, and at the yajna, there was something weird. The father was sat, elderly father was sat. He's a skinny man. Next to him was his wife. Behind the man was his daughter-in-law. And next to the daughter-in-law was the son. Already this is a little bit of a different setup. So Guruji was there, and the swaha started. You know swaha. And as they were doing the swaha, something new was happening. Guruji had never seen it before. Every time the father leant forward to do swaha, For some reason, you know how dhotis are? You have a lang that goes back and is tucked in at the back. Every time the guy would do swaha, the daughter-in-law would pull out the lang. And when he sat up straight to get some more samagri, she would tuck in the lang again. And then swaha, lang come out, sit up straight, lang goes in. How many of you have been to a havan? Are havans short or long? Can you imagine what happened to that poor daughter-in-law? Swaha, swaha, karte, karte. So Guruji was confused. Guruji had seen hundreds and thousands of yagyas. Guruji knows all of the rules behind yagyas. He'd never seen that thing. So he asked this father, once everything was over and everything had happened very nicely, he asked the father, what was this about? This is some new thing. He said, well, this is how we've always done it. This is in my family. This is our tradition. Why are you questioning? Guruji said, why am I questioning? I'll stop questioning him, leave him alone. Let me ask the Panditji. Panditji, he must know. So he goes to Panditji, asks Panditji. Panditji says, I don't know. Anytime I come to do havan at these people's house, whenever it's small havan or big havan, this daughter-in-law is pulling lang and putting lang, putting. No, absolutely no sense. So Panditji, you didn't try to change what they were doing just to let them sit as normal people and do havan? He says, I tried. But this guy is very strong about his belief in his family rituals and traditions. Okay, fine. Happenstance meant that as Guruji was in that village for a few days, the village elder came and met Guruji. And so Guruji said to the village elder, do you happen to know Mr. and Mrs. So-and-so? Village elder said, yeah, I know these people. I know these people. Those are the havan people, aren't they? What do you mean havan people? He says, they're those people, right? That when the daddy does his havan swaha, the daughter-in-law pulls out the lang, and when he sits up straight, she puts in the lang again? Yes, that's those people. That's those people. Why is this happening? He says, it's a good thing I'm old. I can tell you what has happened in this family. Okay, tell me. He said, when that father was a little boy, very little boy, 3-4 years old, his own grandfather used to do havans. And the little boy used to see the grandfather doing this havan. The havan used to be beautiful, the grandfather used to be wonderful, and this is what this young little boy at 3 and 4 years old remembered. So, when he saw his grandfather doing havan, he noticed this thing about lang in and out. But why? Well, the thing is, the guy now is a skinny guy. His grandfather was a very big guy. Very big. This sofa wide. And you can imagine how wide that dhoti cloth is. Not so much, right? So anytime he would lean forward, the lang would fall out on its own. Laaj bachane ke liye bichari jo bahu thi, every time. So this little 3-year-old, he saw, this is how my grandfather did havan, so this is how I must do havan, even though I'm skinny and my lang never falls out. I must do havan this way. It's a very, very similar story to how many of these things that we called quote-unquote dharma have started. Is it not superstition? Is it not superstition? The thing is, if you go to that same family and you try to ask them, what is the logic behind this? What do we revert to? Nay, this is how my grandfather, this is how my grandmother did it, this is how my dada, dadi, nana, nani, everybody, this is how we do it in our family. The question I ask you, is our family the source of dharma, or is our shastra the source of dharma? The shastra should be our source of dharma, right? Even in the shastra, there are many types of dharmas, many different types of dharmas. Our own cultural dharma is known in the ancient shastras not as Hindu dharma but as Arya dharma. Of course, now after Swami Vivekananda, Swami Dayananda, and the different things to get the British out of this country, of course it became Hindu Dharma. But along with that, there is dharmas, there are duties, but also there is spiritualities. Dharma can mean both duty and spirituality. What is the purpose of dharma? This is what I want to ask you, because our purpose for sitting here today, of all of us gathering here today, is to really see, is there anything in our dharma that is relevant anymore in the 21st century? Where I was staying, I asked the young ones, you know, Dadiji does puja every day. Will you do puja? He said, no, man mein kar leta hu. Man mein kar leta hu, ho gaya na, bahut ho gaya. And actually, I would say that is correct. Because our dharma is a little bit more understanding than we expect. We'll get to how it is in a moment. But we, especially our generations, have been doing it for a very long time. If we see that our children are not doing it in the same way that we did it, we understand that they are Gnostic. What we don't understand is by saying these things again and again and again, we actually reinforce in their mind that truly I am a Gnostic. And then what happens? Well, exactly what happens in the United States of America. I'm a chaplain at a Catholic university. I won't get into the nitty-gritty of what it means to be a Hindu at a Catholic university. Just know that it's a lot of hard work. Very good and rewarding work, but also very hard work. I've seen the police at 3 o'clock in the morning. I've been to the emergency room at 2 o'clock in the morning to help students who have fallen foul of the law or fallen foul of everything else. And you can imagine what they've been drinking or smoking or injecting or whatever, right? I've seen all of that. And that's the result of, if you ask my opinion, and especially when I sit down and I ask them, why have they gone down this path? We get to the bottom of it, 9 times out of 10, it is because of the misunderstandings between them and their families. Them and their families. What is the purpose of dharma, therefore? If dharma is the cause of this kid being in such a mental state that they end up having no other recourse but to say, you know what, I'm different from my family, I'll do it my way. If I want to drink my liver out, I'll drink my liver out. If I want to have absolute blackout drunk episodes, I will do that. Surely we, as the people who are that person's family members, we would want to do something that's different, right? If we are using dharma to reinforce those things, obviously it's going to be bad. If we're going to tell that child, you know what you're doing? Bhagwan will be angry with you. Guruji will be angry with you. Dadi maa bahut puja karti thi aur tum aise kar rahe ho, Dadi maa tujhe shrap degi. We say all these kinds of things to scare our children, scare our youngsters. But let me ask you this, how much do we know we're destroying our own faith? We are destroying our own dharma by doing this. So what should we do? What should we do? Well, put it this way. Ahar, nidra, bhaya, maithanancha, samanyam, etat, pashubhir naranam. You should all know this slok from Chanakya Niti. Eating, ahar, nidra, sleeping, bhaya, protecting what you have, maithunam, producing more children, although nowadays that's a different subject for a different time. Samanyam etat pashubhir narana. It's the same for humans and for animals. Animals do that. Humans do that. I would also argue that we should think about what animal means. Does animal just mean the animals on the ground, or does animal also mean animalistic people or animalistic tendencies that we all as human animals have? Then, what is the difference? Is there any difference? Are we just this human mammal? Dharmo naranam adhiko vishesho. The only thing that separates us is our ability to discriminate and to have some knowledge of something greater. Dharma doesn't mean know right and wrong. In this specific instance, it's context sensitive. It means to know that there's something more. Dharmena hina pashubhi samana. Without that understanding, we are just like animals. So how do we make this human animal into a perfect human? That's what dharma is there for. We've talked about transmission. I don't think you'll believe me about this transmission thing. Why is it, I told, in America they celebrate Christmas, right? And our Hindu children in America, I showed them the picture of the Christmas scene. We all know this scene, right? Baby Jesus, Mary, Joseph, 3 wise men, a gadha, gaiya, bhed, right? We all know that scene. I then showed them a picture, just to contrast, of Bhagavan Krishna's incarnation. I asked them to name the mother and father who were standing there. Our Hindu children couldn't name the mother and father. What are the name of the mother and father? A little bit louder? Devaki and Vasudev, okay. I'm going to tell you the age group of the people who gave me the correct answer. I'm not going to shame you, it's okay. So, we know more about other traditions, and I'm going to ask you why we know more about other traditions. Why do we think we know about more other traditions? It's because the education system of this country is still following the University of London's what is quote-unquote secular education system. I want to just pull up 1 or 2 facts and then I'll bring my talk to a close. Do we know of a man named Clive Wood? Clive Woods? Anybody heard of him? No. Clive Woods, just to tell you the sort of character of that person, when in the 1800s Ireland was going under a famine because all of the potato crop in the country had got rot, Clive Wood was the man who prevented England from sending aid to Ireland. Millions of Irish people died in that famine. That was because of Clive Wood. What did the British government ask Clive Wood to do? Prepare the educational policy for India. He wrote several dispatches. The dispatches are on the internet, you can read them. He wrote several dispatches to India, and at that moment in time, Lord Dalhousie, do we know who Lord Dalhousie was? Yeah, Lord Dalhousie was the Governor General of India at that time. In the dispatches, he said, there is no point in educating Indians about their religions. That's very weird. In England, every child is made to learn religion from primary school, all the way through to the end of high school. If they want to carry it on at university, you can study theology. But in India, what he said, this became a big hot topic of debate in the British Parliament, and Lord Macaulay, I'm sure many of you have read what Lord Macaulay wrote. He said, in order for the British to survive in India, what we need to do is to create a class, a jati of people who are brown by skin, but English in taste and culture, because the entire body of their Sanskrit and Arabic literature cannot even compare to a shelf of a primary school in our United Kingdom. Look how difficult that is. With that mindset, what they did was they say, okay, we will have a secular curriculum in India, and what we will do is we will make that the policy for every educational institution. Fine, no religion whatsoever, that's fine. We will learn from our pundits and everything else. But tell me, who were before the British Empire? Right. Who was before the Mughals? Right. Well, no, Delhi Sultanate. But do we also know of the Portuguese Empire, the French empires? Yes? Okay. What did all of them do when it came to our mandirs? And let me ask you something else. What were mandirs for? Were mandirs only for Bhagavanji's vigraha? You come and you do your head, you bow your head and then you run along. At every mandir there was an educational center. At every mandir there was a hospital, Ayurvedic center. At every mandir there was microfinance center. And at every mandir there was an information exchange between those in the community who had knowledge and those who wanted to learn. Right? That was what every mandir used to have. And they were built by people who had money so that everybody in the community could benefit from them. What happened? Mandirs are destroyed. What also happens? Well, whose heads? The people who run the mandirs, the people who ran all of those things. So the people who run the Oshadhalayas, they're gone. The people who run the mandirs itself, they're gone. The people who are doing the teaching, they're gone. Can somebody also tell me why does India have a UNESCO heritage status for its knowledge? Because we used to memorize the Vedas. We used to memorize our Shastras. We used to memorize the secrets, the Upanishads of the Shastras. If my head is not on my body, how is that knowledge going to go forward? So what are we left with? When my child asks me, Mummy, Daddy, how do we celebrate, why do we celebrate Diwali? We really can't tell them the real reason. We can tell them the story. We can't tell them the real reason, the benefit it has for us for celebrating Diwali. Oh, if you celebrate Diwali, Lakshmi ji will be happy with you, it's okay. There's a lot more. Why do we do pujas every day? Oh, because Bhagwan ji will be happy with you, everything will be fine. There's a lot more. But unfortunately, we have no longer got the ability to tell this to our second generation, or third, new generations that are here. What's the solution? And I want to make sure that in understanding that we have a superstition that has grown up, the solution is actually easy. Has anybody ever typed into Google, I call it Google Guru. Have you ever typed it, or you ever asked Alexa? People ask Alexa here? Have you ever asked Alexa, where was the scientific method invented? Scientific method? Do we know the scientific method? You have an idea, you have a hypothesis, you create an experiment, you put the hypothesis through the experiment, you see the conclusion. If you can have the same result having tried it in different situation and come up with the same conclusion, then that conclusion is solid. Remember this scientific method? That scientific method, if you look in any encyclopedia, ancient India and ancient China. Ancient India and ancient China. So why is it that if we ask anybody about science and our dharma, the first thing we hear about is Viman. The second thing we hear about is nuclear weapons. I mean, I'm sure they were there, but if you ask me, there is another way of going about this. Do we know Carl Jung? Carl Jung, the founder of psychiatry, psychology? Huh? He only understood the depth of the mind having read the Upanishads. He was in contact with Swami Vivekananda. He then read the Tao literature and Confucian literature, and then he came up with mental health care that nearly everybody in the world follows today. Surely we should be focusing on that. So Shruta and Charaka, we know about them. We should be focusing on them. Because these are things that we can prove to the rest of the world. Vimans and those things we can't prove yet, right? So anyway, the reason that I brought up the word science in this respect is because our science never accepted anything that was illogical, number one. And number two, just like a good scientific tradition, we never rejected any hypothesis until it was tried and tested. If it was tried and tested and it failed, then we would say, then we move on. But animosity, this thing about saying, that's not what we do, that's not our dharma. That's not our dharma. I close just to prove my point with this little saying from the Mahabharata. Let me remember it properly. In the 254th chapter of the 12th book of the Mahabharata, there was a little conversation going on between Jajali and Tuladhara. Jajali was a rishi from the forests, very, very, very siddh, and Tuladhara was a businessman in Banaras. Jajali thought himself he knew everything, but he used to do some things that were bad, such as animal sacrifice. So Tuladhar came, and at that moment in time an Akashvani happened, and Jajali was told that Tuladhar knows more than you. Meditating rishi, go and understand something from him. Jajali said to this Akashvani, wait a minute, this is a businessman, what am I going to learn from a businessman? Akashvani said back to him, hey, you dare to question me? Go and listen. And so Tuladhar came down to this basic conclusion that he told Jajali. He said, just because it has been practiced for thousands of years, if there is no logic in it, if there is harm in it, nobody should do it. And something better should be done in its place. Idrishan ashivan ghoran acharan iha jajale. There are many types of things that people do in the name of religion here in this planet that are unhelpful to the human being and unhelpful to everybody in its community. They should be rejected and replaced with that which has meaning and purpose. Meaning and purpose. Once we've done that, we'll be able to do something which our dharma asks. What does our dharma ask of us? Very, very simple. If we want to be known as followers of any dharma, number one, know the difference. We are not believers. Believers have been given this thing to believe in. They have no proof of it. Our dharma, just like what Jajali was doing, debate, questions, understanding, knowing why we do something. That is the hallmark of our dharma. So we are actually seekers, not believers. And if we seek out the truth, we will find what we need to help us in our lives. We will find what we need to help our communities. And we will find what we need to help our own children as they grow up in this modern world. We're not going to create, we don't want to make everybody sadhus. There are, you guys need to go to parties as well, right? You also need to go to business dinners as well, right? You also need to be hospitable to everybody who comes in from foreign countries, from different states and all that kind of thing. So if I tell you that just because you've looked at something that shouldn't be eaten, you're unclean, you shouldn't be touched. What kind of dharma is that? Our dharma is understanding. Our dharma has its rules and regulations, but at its head it says, Maitra Karuna Evacha. In the Bhagavad Gita, we all know this shlok, Maitra Karuna Evacha, Nirmamo Nirahankara Samadukha Sukha Kshami. Nirmamo Nirahankara, with the least ego, with the least of self-proprietorship, we should be able to be understanding to everyone we meet. Maitra, have friendliness, and Karuna, be compassionate. If we are compassionate, if we are friendly, and if we search for the truth, then we would have fulfilled what our dharma has asked us to do for these thousands and thousands of years. So, with that, I want to thank everyone here in Guwahati for giving us the time and for also giving your brains this little bit of exercise, because I'm sure that even if it isn't now, some words will prompt you to address a new situation differently, and we will see what the result is, and hopefully that result is progress and peace together. Bole Shri Vrindavan Bihari Lal Ki Jai.
Dr. Sharan, that was very insightful, but I must put my humble submission that it looks like a tip of the iceberg. Mm-hmm. Obviously, I understand it's a very, very big topic, but we would have loved to hear more. But Dr. Sharan had said that he would be taking more questions than addressing you. So I request the people here to come up with your questions. Obviously, we have so many questions in our mind. In fact, I have a couple of them. I would love to ask them once the questions come from the audience. So we have a cordless mic here. I request people to come up with questions. You all have questions in your mind. Why am I told to do this? Why am I told to do that? Why do I comply? So we'll be taking questions now. So am I seeing a question? Yeah. The lady over there.
You know something as well? Don't be afraid.
Hello.
So we are here to get over our fears.
Namaste.
Two questions. Namaste. I have two questions. One is, we hear a lot about vrats and pujas that are supposed to be done by moms of boys and not girls. So is that a superstition? Is that or there is some truth behind it?
Could you tell me which vrat?
I'm a mom of 2 girls, so I don't know.
Okay.
Something. वो कुछ सूता पहन के
Yeah, I understand. There are some vrats. I would.
We
There are
have
some
some
vrats
12
where
महीने
only
की कहानी का book.
a girl, a boy. If you have a boy child, you do the vrat.
Yeah.
Which vrat is that? Bach Baras.
And Sabda Ka Dora, something.
Sabda Kadora.
Right. Okay. So that was question 1.
Yeah.
And question 2?
Question 2 is, like, we are seekers, just as you said. We ourselves have very half-baked information about our dharma.
Right.
We have more of stories that we are passing on to children.
Exactly.
So how do we, where do we find that kind of knowledge which is easy to understand for us and to propagate it to our children about the dharma that we are born into?
If I answer your second question, the first question will be answered too.
That's great.
Is that good?
Yeah.
Good. Tell me your name, please.
I'm Akriti Tori.
Akriti, lovely to meet. Namaskar. So, second question first. You know, when I'm, used to use Facebook. Now nobody uses Facebook. Now everybody uses Instagram and Snapchat. I can't understand the two. But anyway, when I used to use Facebook, people used to say something like idol worship. And I said, wait a minute, these are Hindu people saying idol worship. Do we know what idol worship is? We think it's a translation for Murti Puja, right? But actually the word idol is a derogatory term, an insulting term, derived from Christian origin English language, right? The word idol for them means something that is so disgusting that it should be destroyed because it is taking the place of God in their language, right? Do we know, we've been to Goa, we know where Goa is, right? Do you know how many mandirs were there before the Catholics of the Portuguese arrived? In their records, 300 mandirs were destroyed. And the reason for destroying those 300 mandirs by the Portuguese Empire, who were Catholics, was that because they have the idols of the devil. Why are we still using that same word? When you ask a Buddhist, Buddhists also have murtis, right? Buddhists also do murti puja. On the day of Vesak, which is with birthday of Bhagwan Buddha, they also do Buddhabhisheka. You go to Thailand, you go to Tibet, you will see them bathing Bhagwan Buddha statues. When you ask them what they're doing, they don't say idol worship. They say we are venerating Lord Buddha. Venerating Lord Buddha. Why is veneration being used and why not worship? Number one. And when you ask them about the word statue, they said, well, we don't have any problem. It's just a representation of Lord Buddha, right? So idol, murti, no, they use representation, and puja, worship, no, they use veneration. So it's the veneration of a representation of Lord Buddha. That sounds much better to a Christian ear, especially, than idol worship. What our problem is that we've inherited this language system, this pejorative mind that was left by our former rulers in this country, that makes everything we do seem so stupid. It seems trivial. Why are you giving grains to a pigeon? Why are you going and doing things like bachavaras? We have lost the idea, the language to explain it to our generations. We've even lost the language to explain it to ourselves. Language is so important. You know what I was talking about, this creating this class of citizens who are brown by color but actually English by tastes and cultures? Lord Macaulay was talking about changing the language of instruction from Indian languages to English. When you get rid of a language from a school system, you also get rid of the stories, but you also get rid of the sciences of that natural culture. And without any of that, to try and explain to someone why we're doing Brahmachari in this age, we'll have a big hard time. And the only thing that we'll be able to tell them is, you do it. You do it because I told you to do it, or you do it because this is what Dada Dadi told us to do. This is how we've done it all the time. What does it sound like? Which story I told you? Remember the name of the story, Lang in, Lang out. Right? Anytime you hear anything like that, just remember the name of the story, Lang in, Lang out. So that's part A. And part B, with regards to Brahmachari, it's again a community-specific fast. And the story has been used because there is no means of explaining its inner significance to the people who are performing it. The way that you get somebody who is working in, what are the temperatures in Churu at this moment in time? 51 degrees Celsius, to give up eating food, right? For them to do that, you have to scare the living daylights out of them. And I don't think there is any more scary a story than the story of Brahmachari. Right? So if you know that that is the story, I want to ask you, my dear friend, to find the inner spiritual significance. And if you find it useful to you and useful to your family, I think you should carry on doing it. If you don't find it useful, then I'm sure you're going to be able to find other fasts that will do it.
Yep. A question back there.
Namaste, Guruji.
Namaste ji.
As you said, ki we do pujas for Ganesh Puja, Bhumi Pujan. So what does it mean? Is it superstitious? Does God exist? Does luck plays an important role in our life? Is there anything like stars or zodiac signs that we should follow? These are all superstitious.
I want you to, is Benji ka naam kya hai?
My good name is Dimple Santholia.
Dimple. Lovely to meet you, Dimple ji. Namaste. Can we give her a round of applause? I think many people wanted to ask this question, but they might have been a little bit afraid. You know what I said about believing and seeking? They're two different things. Believing and seeking, the Abrahamic traditions were handed a book and were told to believe in it, and they did, without question. Our dharma, we had when our dharma came up with the Upanishads, right? There were Vedic Devi Devata, but there was also Shaiv, Shakt, Smart, and Vaishnav dharmas. Those dharmas were there, each of them having monotheistic God. But what ended up happening was we put all of them together in what is known as the period of the second urbanization, about 800 BC. These are all technicalities. For those of you who want to know these things, write it down. If not, never mind. The conclusion of that was, our ancient rishis and munis, they didn't accept anything by believing. They said, we want to debate it. The evidence for this is found in the Rig Veda, in the Nasadiya Sukta. Nasadasit Sado Nasit, and the Hiranyagarbha Sukta. Kasmai Devaya Havika Vidhema. Both of those suktas are asking, well, is there really a God? Is there anyone that knows everything that there is? Can there be such a thing? That is from the Veda's mouth itself. So what happens after that question? The Upanishads come and they give us the answer. The Upanishad says, and this is where the science bits come in, people who've studied chemistry, we've all studied the periodic table of elements? No? You studied periodic table of elements? Okay, good. Can somebody tell me what the first element is? Are you sure? Perfect. Hydrogen. What's the second element? Third element? Very good. What is the difference between each of those elements? The atomic numbers. Either some the proton-neutron increases. Huh? So from one element comes another element which is bigger, from another element comes another element which is bigger, etc., etc. Then you get your molecules, you get your intermolecular forces and all of those kinds of things, and you then suddenly get everything that's here in this world. Everything that's here in this world, if you boil down to its basic element, comes from atoms, right? Where do these atoms come from? The Big Bang. Very good. Somebody's been paying attention in the school. Basically, what our Upanishad said was that, okay, why are we doing all of these yagyas? Mundaka Upanishad has a very famous mantra that says, if you are looking to cross the ocean of samsara, a boat made of yagya is unstable. That's high criticism, very high criticism coming from the Mundaka Upanishad. Right? What was the Mundaka Upanishad trying to say? It was saying that we need to also look for something else to give this boat some stability. You keep doing yagyas, but you need to know the reason why. What is the reason why? We were coming to this thing called God. The thing called God was not there at the beginning. In our Upanishads, we are meditators, not worshippers. We are meditators on Parabrahman. But doesn't Parabrahman mean God? No. God is Ishvara. What is Parabrahman? If you go and you say, okay, where does all of this come from? All of this comes from smaller and smaller matter. From molecules then down to the elements themselves. And those elements themselves, what are they made up of? Subatomic particles. What are those subatomic particles made up of? Quarks. Right? Where did all of this come from? It came from the solar system. This solar system came from the stardust that preceded it, and that which preceded it, and that which preceded it, all the way back to the Big Bang. What's in the Big Bang? All matter, all antimatter, time, space, and natural laws. All of them together are at the Big Bang. Would you like to hear what Vedanta says? Aprakritam prakrita rupakancha kala swarupam tad acetanam matam maya pradhana dipada pravacham shukladi vedascha samepi tatra. Our Acharya Jagadguru Srinivas Bhagavan, he mentions right there that this Parabrahman thing, it's a principle that contains aprakritam and prakrita, antimatter and matter. Aprakritam, prakrita rupakancha, kala swarupam, time, tad acetanam matam. All of those things that do not have life, all of those things come from this thing, and life itself also comes from this thing. So this one thing modern physics calls the singularity. That thing is what we call Parabrahman. And what we say is that, and the purpose of religion is to remove our sorrows, to give us mukti, to give us liberation from our sorrows. If we have problems in day-to-day life, and if we just stop and think for one moment, actually in the grand scheme of things, why have fight with this one? Why have fight with that one? We're only here for a few seconds and then we're done. Why not enjoy the time we have? Why not be nice to people in the time we have? In thinking on that, that's great. But let me ask you something. If I told you to meditate on that all the time, what would you do? If, and we can liken this to the difference between love and the lover, if I asked you to meditate on love itself, you could probably focus for about 10 minutes. If I asked you to focus on the person you loved the most, you could spend hours in thinking about them, right? So that's when our rishis and munis said, well, Parabrahman, for those people who can meditate, is great, but it's also the same as Ishvara, Bhagavan, for those people who are more devotional. Right? So the meditation of the more knowledgeable people, and the worship and the singing and the bhajans of the more devotional people lead them to the same place. So in answering your questions, believing in God, doing puja to God, if your heart aligns with it, yes. If your heart doesn't align with it, what did I tell you? Maitra and Karuna. We must be compassionate. We must understand that there are people who believe in it, and for them, it helps them solve their sorrows. So for them, we must be respectful at least. But also they must respect our decision to choose meditation or to choose another spiritual practice within our dharma that helps us remove our sorrows as well. So those both things hand in hand. Bhumi Pujan and all of these kinds of things that you've asked me as well. We do this because it is a collection of good intentions. Everybody who is at a Bhumi Pujan, they're all wishing for the success of the project. When you wish for the success of the project, it means that you have the concerns of the project at the front of your mind. When that concern is at the front of your mind, automatically anything that affects that project will be dealt with quickly, and so the project will go smoothly. So yes, for devotional people, you can say Ganeshji gave lots of blessings to this project. That's why now it's so big and beautiful. And for those who have more of the meditative mindset, you will say, yes, by doing that Bhumi Pujan, we had all had good intentions. We were able to focus on those good intentions and create the project we have today. I hope that answers your question.
Path-breaking. It was actually path-breaking. So we have some more questions. The mic over there.
Namaste, I'm Krishna Goyal.
Namaste ji.
So I have two questions, one leading to another. Firstly, is there science behind every superstition? For example, in India, people do fasting because एक superstition है. But यही abroad में इसलिए होता है ताकि people can balance their internal body parts and keep it healthy. Secondly, superstition means andhavishwas. If we literally translate it, it means blind belief. So people also say that if we believe in something with our heart and soul, it tends to turn into reality. So in दो चीज़ों के बारे में I would like to ask you, how does it correlate?
Very good question. Thank you very much. So, the one about fasting is a great example, and it actually will answer the second question too. Rishis and Munis, having gone to that depth of thought that they were able to do just by the power of the human mind in the Upanishads, why is there such a variance of teachings compared from the Upanishads if you compare it to the Puranas, for example? Why is it so different? Well, it's because, have you ever, you've studied hopefully chemistry at school? You know, when you were young in primary school, what did they tell you? That substances are made up of molecules. That's good enough. Then you went to a couple more grades of school, then they said, oh, those molecules are made up of atoms. You said, ले भगवान, मैंने अभी तो molecules समझ में आए, ये कौन से atoms आ गए अब? Right? You gave it a few years more, and then suddenly you're being introduced to electrons, protons, and neutrons. ये कौन से है अब? You told me when I was younger that there was just molecules. Now you're telling me that there is atoms and subatomic particles. Now you've gone to college, you've been told about quarks. And now that you've been told about quarks, you're told that quarks are dark color, red color, green color. They spin. One spins up, one spins down. And now that CERN has been opened, you're now being told about string theory and entanglement theory. So when are you actually going to tell us the real truth? If you take that approach and you apply it to how our fasting is being told, and again this the story comes into play right here. If I am not acquainted with our spiritual reasoning, the spiritual reasoning requires a very developed mind. If you are being told to fast, you're going to say, well, why am I going to give up my food? I'm sorry. Oh no, it's good for your health. Yeah, but so is eating food. Well, if you fast, then, I don't know, you'll be able to focus more. It says, so I can focus just by reading a book. Why do I need to fast? Then you give them you give them the hard sell, just like what you would do to a child to stop them from putting their hand in the chula, right? You tell them some fancy story. A lot of the stories that we have are allegorical. They're not fancy stories, they're allegorical. They convey the truth, but in a very easy to digest way. The thing is, because of this transmission problem, we've lost the ability to go beyond that. So our rishis and munis knew, especially with Sushruta and Charaka, that when you fast and gave your body, your digestion system a time to rest, of course, you are going to be healthier. And so it's not superstition per se, but it is our own rishis and munis who have given us bite-sized bits of knowledge and bite-sized bits of inspiration so that we can do the things that will be helpful to us even before we are able to understand why we're doing it. That's why. I hope that helps.
It is actually, I think, Dr. Sharan, that it is more of being a seeker. I think most of us in this age have become believers to believe what we are told, and maybe after this interaction we'd actually be starting questioning all those things which we have been made to believe and not understand it in totality. So a question was there. Yeah.
Pranam Guruji.
Pranamji.
In our culture, hair is given a lot of importance. When we go to do puja, we are asked to tie our hair.
Right.
We are asked not to wash our hair on a particular day. We are asked not to cut our hair on a particular day. Though you are free from such hassle.
I'm free from such hassle.
So I'm really curious to know what the reasons are behind it, what the scientific interpretation is.
The hair is a very important thing. Thank you for this question. Hair is a lovely thing, lovely question. If you go to South India, if you go to Tamil Nadu, for example, or if you go to Andhra Pradesh, when ladies go to perform pujas, they simply tie their hair in verni. They don't cover their hair. They don't do gungat. But if you go to North India, anywhere, ladies always have to do gungat when they go to the pujas or to temples or what have you. The answer that we're given there is, well, because hair falls. And we don't want the hair to fall into any of these things that then people are going to eat, the prasad, for example. That's why we tie our hair. Even people like us, we tie the shikha so that there's no long hair that will fall. Obviously, that's a nice scientific, easy explanation. The southern tradition of just tying it in a verni in plaits means that even then the hair is not going to fall out because it's all tied together. So there's a kind of a logical reasoning behind that one. About washing hair, well, if you ask modern scientists today, they say that actually washing your hair daily for some skin types actually removes all the oils that the hair needs to be healthy, and people experience hair loss earlier. For some people, therefore, it makes sense for them to skip a day in washing your hair. I myself would say never skip a day washing your hair. But there are some people for whom these exceptions should be made. This is where our dharma is great. Our dharma knows how to make exceptions because we do not provide a blanket statement for everyone. We take cases on an individual basis and we assess their needs on an individual basis only. So if you're here, if there was somebody whose hair started falling out early, then they would say to them, don't wash the hair every day. Don't wash the hair every day. How am I going to remember when not to wash your hair? Okay, just don't wash your hair on Thursdays. Right? Now, if there were a preponderance of people in that area, it becomes a custom. And that custom becomes a tradition. And then we know the story, long in, long out. Right? So just like that, I would say that if your hair is strong and you can manage it, then great. If it doesn't bother you, the smell doesn't bother you, then great. Carry on as is. If you'd like to have clean hair, wash away and see what happens. If something happens, change it back. Right? That's how we deal with it. We're seekers. We are able to test what we believe and see what the results are and modify accordingly.
No, like, is cutting hair inauspicious on, like, is it really inauspicious if we cut our hair on a good occasion?
All the saloons are off on Tuesdays. we have a thing called that you cannot shave on a Thursday, on a Saturday, or a Tuesday. And
Rajat, actually we have 3 days in a week where we cannot cut your hair, your beard and your mustache or anything.
Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday.
Tuesday, Thursday, and some people they don't cut it even on Mondays. Some of them, yeah.
And we also hear, it has happened with my brother, that somebody said that if you cut on a Saturday, your son will be in trouble.
Wow.
And unfortunately, twice he did that just to try, and on both the occasions, my nephew got hurt. So for him, it has become a tradition now.
So basically you're saying that if I wanted to be a barber, or a salon owner, all I need to do is to set up shop on a Wednesday.
Yeah. So basically on Tuesdays they're off. In India, at least on Tuesdays they're off.
On Tuesdays they're off. I mean, this is a good question. It's a good question. Some of it is relatable. There was an old thing about Shani Devta, because his is iron, you don't use iron on Shaniji's day. That's why some people did not do that. But I will ask you, have you seen many of the sadhus and sants, what their get-up is? How many times a week do you think we shave? We shave every 3 days. Every 3 days, it doesn't matter what day it is. Let me also ask you a question. When these vars were invented, when were these vars invented? When our shastras were written, there was only tithis. You do fast on Ekadashi, or you fast on Pradosh, you celebrate Purnima, you remember your ancestors on Amavasya, you remember Mataji on Ashtami, you remember Ganeshji on Chaturthis, you remember Skanda Devta on Shashti. Where is these days? These days are a later invention that came with people who came into India, right? Yeah. So that's one thing I want you to understand as a basis. Number two, Sri Tulsidas Ji writes lovely, lovely poetry, and some of it is really great. One of them is so applicable to now. I'm sure most of our aunties and uncles know this one. Janaki Nath Sahay Kare Jab Aage Kaun Bigad Kare Nar Tero. If you have that faith and devotion in one Supreme Being, then what can anything else do to you? What can anything else do to you? So what does that mean to say? The faith and devotion, i.e. the vaham, right? The vaham, or the intentions, or what is in our minds, that is what makes it strong. So if we give strength to not cutting not cutting is not bad, but the thing that comes after it, this fear thing that you can tell doesn't come from our tradition, right? This thing about making people scared into doing it. Then if you give your intelligence to that, if you give your belief to that, of course it's going to come true. Because as we said before, intentionality makes that thing come to the forefront of our minds. And then anything that happens immediately gets related to this. So what should we be doing? Again, trial and error. If it works for you, make it work for you. If it doesn't work for you, then it doesn't work for you. Do not be worried. But don't make it into this ghost story that you then terrorize your children and your grandchildren with. Try and give it to them with some logic. And I think everybody would be happy with the outcome. I hope that helps.
Yep.
We have more questions.
Can I have the next question, please?
Yeah.
Pranam Guruji. There are many parts in our dharma, like Mahamrityunjay and everything. Whenever, the moment anyone is in the hospital, we start Mahamrityunjay part. A Pandit is sitting at the home. Do these parts actually work?
It's a very, very good question. You know, to this I asked Sri Sadguru Devji Maharaji many, many times about this, because we would also arrange for these parts to be done. Have you ever looked at what the American and what the European trend is now? You heard the word affirmation? Affirmations, you know, you get up in the morning, you look in the mirror and you say, I can do this. I am good. Yes. I have everything I need. Etc., etc. Bhai, if you translate this back into what we have, Aham Brahmasmi, Sri Krishna Tavasmi, exactly the same things. Right? These affirmations, these are mantras. These are poor replacements for actual mantras. And mantras, manah tat trayate iti mantra. Mantra is that which saves the mind from its struggles. So we do the Mahamrityunjay mantra to save us from our sorrows and also to send positive, good vibrations to the person who is undergoing suffering. Now the question you ask about having part with Panditjis doing it at home, Guruji's advice always is, the mala that you do yourself is going to be millions of times better than a mala that somebody else does for you. But that does not mitigate. If you want to, you know, dot all your I's, cross all your T's, then have other people do it too, but you must also do it. But never think that you just give it over to Panditji and that's the end of it. So, yes, there is definitely a benefit, but we must do it ourselves too.
So it's the positive aura which comes from it?
It's the vibrations. Do we know we have more scientists around? Hi, scientists. You know Planck's equation? E equals h over f? Energy, frequency, and Planck's constant. Everything that has a frequency has an energy, if you inverse that equation. Everything that has a frequency has an energy. Our bodies vibrate. Ergo, our bodies produce frequencies. Our bodies have energy. Our voices have frequencies. What we speak has frequency. Therefore, it also has an energy. And if you're able to chant this mantra, what you're doing is creating a harmony. You harmonize your body cells, you harmonize the person's body cells, and what it does is it tries to balance out the very subtle vibrations that are going on so that medicines can take effect, and so that the person's own healing processes can take effect too. So scientifically, I would say, you should look up what the Max Planck Institute has been working on, and you'll be surprised to see a lot of what we're saying about having good intentions, about having good vibrations around people who are suffering, is being proven slowly and slowly.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Pranam Guruji, Pranam Guruji. Guruji, I have a request more than the question. The lungi, the dhoti example, I think for all the elderlies here, you should say in Hindi, because whenever we try to explain something, we have a big, big eyes which we get to say. I remember still when I got married and 4 a.m. you come back and 6 a.m. you again woken up, wear the sherwani, do some patthar pujas and all. So I was like, this must be the child marriage tradition which is still coming on to amuse children to get involved in their marriage functions. So if that example can come in Hindi for the elderlies to understand.
Hope you don't get lessons at home, but Dr. Sharan, please.
And also probably not traveling in Amavasya because of no moon on that night, or there could be another reason as well.
Not traveling on Amavasya, I mean, I will tell you that very easily. It's a very simple story. If you have no moonlight at night, how are you going to travel?
Exactly, right?
Right?
Yeah.
Very, very.
But
in the old days,
big eyes
in the old days, how would you travel? Right? Nowadays, obviously, we have different ways of dealing with things, but still there is something about the energy at that time, and many people talk about energies. I myself have traveled on many Amavasyas, and thank Bhagwanji, I'm still here. But what I would say about this request is a good request, but I would also tell you the ability to understand the flexibility of our dharma means that the way that our parents and our grandparents understand the dharma, we should be able to compartmentalize it in a way that says, this is how they were brought up, this is how they believed, and this is what has brought them through all the struggles of their lives. So it is useful for them, and in that much we should be respectful of what they believe. How do we work when it comes to us and them? That one is a very difficult story. But I would say that in love, it is better to be happy than to be right.
True, but Dr. Sharan, that makes us again believers.
No. You know what it makes us? Clever. It makes us clever, it makes us respectful. We've not hurt the sentiments of our parents. We've done something that really doesn't take too much time off our lives. It doesn't really matter, okay, we're getting married today, if we have to do this, patthar puja karo bhai. It doesn't make anything, I mean, there's nothing really taken away from us. We've made our parents happy, we've made the community happy, great. Now after that, you don't bother me, let me enjoy my married life.
I think more than the parents, aren't we making that Pandit who is coming home happy?
Now you've come upon a very good topic. Our Panditjis get very, very bad name in this country. Very, very bad name in the country. I work at Georgetown University, right? We have a rabbi. So there are numerous Roman Catholic priests. There's a Methodist priest, Baptist priest, an Orthodox Christian priest, a rabbi, and an imam. And then there's me. The rabbi is a very interesting case. Rabbi means Pandit. In Hebrew, rabbi means Pandit. See, she gets paid 50% more than everybody else in the school. We asked the rabbi, why is this the case? They said, well, because my community realized that during the Holocaust, most of the rabbis were gassed to death. There are no rabbis left, very few rabbis left. So we as a community decided that we would train our rabbis, make sure they get good training. We would then make sure that they went on to good synagogues, which are like mandirs, work at these places, and then in order to make sure that they have incentive to remain good, so that they're not creating false ceremonies and false reasons and all kinds of superstitions, we will make sure they get good salaries so that they can live and take care of their families. At this moment in time, if you look at any other culture in the world, the Jewish people have very good examples for us to learn from. And none of their rabbis talk about superstitions. Jewish people have lots of superstitions. They don't talk about superstitions. They give you it as it is, perfect, clean, nice and smooth. They're nice people. They're not greedy people. And that's all because the community takes care of them. How do we take care of our pandits? We can't last a day without at least 15,000-20,000 rupees in our pocket, and yet we give Panditji 100 rupees as dakshina. I'm not engaged in any of this work, and I am a person who is a chaplain, so I can tell you this as a Hiteshi, as somebody who wants the best for people in this country. We really need to look at how we train our pandits. We really need to look at investing in the training so that we get people who can really lead and be there and give us the correct information. So that, again, we won't be doing things that make no sense. He would have had the time to explain to you why we're doing that. That's what I hope for the future. I hope that answers.
With the kind of population we have in India, I think it's a really big task. Yeah. So, any more questions?
Yeah. Namaskar, Guruji. So my question is, can you tell us your thoughts on hand astrology and about the pandits who give their knowledge on kundalis, and like there are thoughts on manglik, non-manglik. So can you tell us your thoughts on that? And another question is, and how is it scientific? Is it like really true? And another question is, like, people do enjoy more doing sinful stuff than good deeds. So what is the logic behind that, and how do how can someone overcome that and do good stuff?
I see. That's a very good question. Set of questions. Thank you. What's your name, sir?
My name is Saurav Jalan.
Second?
Saurav Jalan.
Saurabhji. Yeah. Lovely to meet you, Saurabhji. Namaste. I think, Saurabhji, yours will be the second to last question, and this Benji was standing up with the mic will be the last question from me.
She has one.
Because then we also want Shri Sadguru Devji's blessing.
We have actually extended the time because we have so many questions. Actually, it is just for information. Tomorrow, 11:30, we have another program of Dr. Sharan at Ambience Banquet, Zoo Road. And you can also benefit. The topic for tomorrow is importance of religion in the 21st century. So we'll take it from tomorrow also, but maybe a couple of questions.
Last couple of questions, sure. So I like the sin question a bit more, because the other one you can answer with a compilation of a few things that I've said today. I went to Cambodia. I went to Siem Reap and I went to Angkor Wat. And in Angkor Wat, there's a lovely big statue of Bhagavan Vishnu, lovely big icon. If anybody asks you the translation for the word murti, it's icon, I-C-O-N, or deity, D-E-I-T-Y. Either deity or icon, not this idol nonsense. Promise me from today you'll never use the word idol?
Sure.
Promise. Good, thank you. So I went to this Cambodia, went to Angkor Wat. I saw this Bhagavan Vishnu's beautiful icon, and I did my pranams. Because it's been worshipped there for at least 1,500 years. Did my pranams, I stood up, there was a pig's head looking at me. I said, pig head? And so I asked the person who was sitting there, the priest that was sitting there, and he says, oh yeah, it's the local people, they eat all these kinds of things, so they offer whatever they eat to the Bhagwan before they eat it. And I said, well, what about what Bhagwan wants? And they said, well, they don't know about it. They just offer what they want. I thought that was very interesting. Because what it said to me is that we have actually lost sight of something, and obviously I'm not condoning that activity, but that's the way that culture deals with it, so that's fine. We have dharma, artha, kama, and moksha, right? 4 purusharthas, 4 goals for human life. I would say that moksha should underpin everything. The struggle for moksha should underpin everything. But righteousness, knowing what is right and wrong, that's something important. Artha, having financial ability, financial stability, a good money flow, that's also important. And kama, the fulfillment of desires, that is also important. Each of those has a sutra, right? There are the Dharma Sutras, the Dharma Shastras. There are the Artha Sutras, Artha Shastras. There are the Kama Sutras and the Kama Shastras. And there are the Moksha Sutras and the Moksha Shastras, right? This is where you get the knowledge for each. The question I had for these Rishis and Munis in my mind was, should somebody only be focused on being, oh no, we should be detached, we should rise above everything, we should be 100% pure, we should never make a mistake? The answer came, you're human. You're human. The most important thing is to try to be better. Swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mato bhayat. Even a small progress day by day towards becoming more and more liberated, that will save us from the greatest calamities. But to say that, oh, I'm detached, and yet have to work in a business and have a family, that's a misnomer. That's plain lying to oneself. So what we need to actually become in the 21st century is less like these Victorian British people and more like the Hindus we were. We could understand when somebody wanted to go off and party. We could understand when somebody wanted to go off and have, well, different things that people get involved in. I'm not going to name them. You should know, right? But we should understand that our purpose ultimately is to be free from this place. And by refining ourselves, by becoming better human beings, we will get to that goal. If we do things and we say, oh, well, I've done this one thing bad now, so I'm like this forever. I can never be good because I've done this thing and that's it. Somebody told me they were vegetarian for most of their life and they went to university and they said, galti se unke jo dost log the, they gave him something to eat and it was meat. And he says, well, oh, now I like the taste of meat, so you know what, I'm never going to become vegetarian again. Thankfully, 5 or 6 years later, he says, well, thankfully you told me that we're understanding. Just because you've had it once doesn't mean you can't give it up again and improve yourself. In that way, that person is now, again, vegetarian. I'm not going to speak about vegetarianism, that's a different topic. But to understand that we need to realize the fact that we're human beings, be comfortable with the fact that we're human beings, but keep the goal of refining our human selves at the forefront of our mind. I hope that helps.
So the last question for the day?
Yeah.
Oh,
wow. Oh, hand astrology. Hand astrology. Actually, I wrote down the slok just in case it came up. Yagyavittu sudarlabha. People who know the actual sciences, and this was written in the Mahabharata over 3,000 years ago. The people who actually know the truth behind these matters are very, very rare indeed. This was at the time of the Mahabharata. Now can you imagine how difficult it is to get hold of a Jyotishi that knows this science through and through? Very, very difficult. But it's not impossible. There are a few people that know these sciences, but they're very, very difficult, very hard to come by. All I would say is that if you try your best, and if you try your best with an understanding of what you're doing, as in, if you can see that something you're doing time and time again is resulting in failure, you should have that capacity to say, okay, we'll leave that one and we move to something else. That kind of common sense is more effective than understanding what's in our hands. Common sense will save you all the time.
So you're saying the art of seeing hands or astrology is there or it isn't?
Yeah, it is part of Jyotish Shastra, and Jyotish Shastra is an accepted science in the Vedic times.
Okay.
As time has gone on, and again, as heads have been removed from bodies, the transmission line of that science has been broken. Very much so. There are a few people who know it, very few people who know it, But the majority have learned the basics as much as they can from the books that were left. But the actual knowledge, the actual depth, that has been lost with the heads of those who knew it. So, yes, it was a science. Yes, there are a few people who know it today. But whether it is widely available, I would say I don't think so. I don't think so.
So the last question.
Hello.
Pranam Guruji. Yesterday, I can say, an incident took place. I went to the mandir with my 10-year-old son, and then he rang the bell. And he asked me, Mama, why do we ring the bell? Is God hear us louder? Or it's a superstitious, or it's a science? So that just now it came to my mind that what it is all about. And my next question is, it's a question of all the ladies sitting here, that why women are not allowed to enter the mandir or the temple in periods. And why we are asked that during day hours like 12 p.m. you're not allowed to step out of the house, or at the midnight please don't go out, or the pregnant women are asked not to go out at the night. So what is the story all behind? It's a superstitious, or it's seriously a science behind that?
So the last question is 7 questions.
Aapka naam?
My name is Shweta Sumani.
Lovely to meet you, Ji.
Thank you.
That is it's a good set of questions. If I was to answer them fully, it would take me a long time. I'll start with the one that I really can only offer an opinion on. I can't offer a full answer because I'm a male. Obviously, males should not be speaking for female issues. It should be women who to come up with the correct answers and discover how to go forward. With regards to the bell is nice and simple. It's scientific. Our minds are full of lots of noise. And when we go to the temple, if we are focused on everything we were focusing on before we got there, while we're at the temple, we're not going to be able to make use of the time that we're there. We are not going to be able to benefit from the reason of going to the temple. Ringing the bell as we enter the temple creates a sound vibration that, again, harmonizes the mind. It allows us to focus on the reason why we're here. As soon as we ring the bell, we might not have seen the Garbhagriha before, but as soon as we ring the bell, we straight away see the Vigraha, the Bhagavanji that is in the center of the temple. I don't know if you've noticed that. Try and see next time you do, when you go to the temple. As soon as you ring the bell, suddenly the eyes of the deity become clear. Suddenly the mala that the deity is wearing becomes clear, etc., etc. So, ringing the bell has the power to focus us and also harmonize, calm our minds a little bit so that we can enjoy the time at the mandir. Obviously, there are more things about sending good vibrations into the universe and all of that. But I would say that the most tangible explanation is that one. So, ringing the bell, definitely there is a science to it. You go to some of the mandirs in Tamil Nadu, actually the bell is not a bell, but it's actually the pillars, and you can hit the pillars with wooden mallets and they serve as the same purpose. So yes, definitely it's there. With regards to pregnant women going out at night, I think with the ease of miscarriages, it became a very, very common practice that we try as much as we could in the days before the ability to monitor the fetus as it was in the womb. It became a policy to basically say to women, you know, it's better just stay at home, rather than going out and risking tripping up and falling down in the dark, which is what would have happened in those days, and causing miscarriages like that. So it's something that has stayed with us from that time. That there is logic in that. Whether it's applicable now is up to people to try for themselves, I think. But the way I would say is, conception is such a unique and divine and hard to achieve event. I would try to protect it as much as possible. That would be my own opinion on the matter. Thank you.
So Dr. Sharan, I would understand that there were many norms or these practices which were happening in the past because of compulsions, like not going out on Amavasya, not traveling on Amavasya because there was no light.
Mm-hmm.
So these traditions have been carrying on without any explanations. And do you think we should change all this?
One of the most important things is change. Change is our dharma. Every time that there was new circumstances that came up, our dharma adapted to move forward. But the thing is, you need the consensus of knowledgeable people. How many people have been through Snatak Samarohas? Snatak? No? We know what Snatak is? Yeah? Graduations? So the actual word for Snatak is for somebody who has Yagyopavita, who goes to the Gurukul. When they come back, they're given Snan from 8 kalashas, representing all the knowledge that they had. All that. There are lots of deep meanings to that, but the essence is, at the end of the Snatak ceremony, they're given one advice. They're saying, at the moment or at that point in time where the dharma is unclear about how to deal with that subject, you should seek out a council of similarly learned people and discuss it, and whatever the conclusion is reached should be adopted. Again, the problem of transmission comes in. Lots of heads are separated from bodies, and that line of transmission is broken, so we don't have the consensus ability anymore. If we work as 21st century people to create people who have that ability, why can't it change? Of course it will change, of course it will adapt, but it can't be just it cannot be manmani, it cannot just be on our mercy. It has to be with logic, with reasoning, and with true purpose.
Wonderful. So Ajay ji, one final question from you, and then we'll take a blessings from Guruji.
It is not my question. It is a question given by so many ladies here, because they have been forced to believe in what our Shastra says. And some of the ladies here, they are reluctant to read Ramayana, because one sloka says in Ramayana that ढोल गंवार क्षुद्र पशु नारी ये सब है ताड़न के अधिकारी. So why the nari is taran ki adhikari? That is what they want to know.
That's a lovely topic. And obviously because you are a lovely compare, of course we have to answer the question. Very, very, very simple. Dharma Shastras were created. Do we know what Dharma Shastra's actual translation is? Very simple. It's like law codes. Law codes were created by kings and the priests, the Brahmins that were part of their kingdoms. Right? A lot of archaeological and paleogenetic evidence has shown that in India, women were in charge of the lines of human descent. And so it was more of a matriarchy system. Do we know matriarchy? Where women decide where inheritance happens to women, where women control the finances, etc., etc. It's still in Meghalaya. These kinds of matriarchies were more common in India. Kings are men, queens are women. Kings are going to pay their own court priests to create law codes that support their system. At the end of the day, the king wants to remain the king, not have a queen be the leader of a king. So the Dharma Shastra codes were proliferated, they created segregation in society, they created this kind of pollution, that kind of pollution. These things were all created in these law codes, but these law codes were regional. Each king had a specific law code. At no point in time was there one law code for the entirety of India. Do you understand what I'm saying? So what is happening in one region is not applicable to what is happening in another region, because each region has laws that are specific to the culture and context and time and place and geography of that region itself. When you look at the rest of the Dharma, you ask people in the moksha tradition, people who are munis, people who are sadhus and sadhvis, you ask them this same question, they will say, what does that have to do with anything? The body is a vehicle for the soul. The soul is the most important thing. But then you go into society again, you get involved with politics and you get involved with economics, and again you're going to try and find some power to hold over another person's head. This is a very big problem. This is what Guru Nanak Dev Ji, Kabir Das Ji, Surdas Ji, Mirabai, Eknath Ji, the Alwars, all of them spoke out against the segregations, the injustices that are perpetrated in society. And I believe that if we focus on their voices a little bit more, we will be able to answer those questions with finality. But until there is this kind of demand for power and this demand for prestige, we will never be able to answer that question with honesty, with humility. Because in my point of view, without Shakti, there is no Shaktiman. That's my answer.
Thank you. I would like Ajay ji to please come here and...
One question is there.
Achha.
Yeah.
One more?
Yeah.
Last question, na?
Last question, yeah.
Okay.
Swamiji, I will put this question in Hindi because most of us would like to know and understand the question and the answer in Hindi. हम 80 से 90% सनातनी धर्म यानी हिंदू धर्म के जितने भी लोग हैं हम आतंकित हैं. We are terrorized. Terrorized by what? Like if you आप अगर पुण्य करोगे तो स्वर्ग में जाओगे और पाप करोगे तो नर्क में जाओगे. So most of us we are terrorized. I mean आतंकित रहते हैं हम लोग. तो ये जो वाक्य है इसकी सच्चाई क्या है? पाप और पुण्य इन दोनों की परिभाषा क्या है? अगर पाप करने से हम नर्क में जाएंगे तो उस पाप की सीमा क्या है? What is the boundary of that पाप?
So very quickly, because I know that time is running short.
Short, yeah.
Very, very short. If you have to reduce what we do here on this planet to two alternatives only, it is a sign that we need to do more growing as human beings. I hope that is clear to you. I don't want to translate this in English, in Hindi. But if we are only living our lives day to day by a force that tells us if we do this, we're good and we get rewards, and if we do that, we're bad and we're going to suffer badly, then we've not understood the essence of human life. The essence of human life we can understand from the Upanishads. There's a lovely saying that parupakara punyaya papaya parapidanam. That's a very nice definition of what punya and papa is. It's not sin and it's not merit, but punya is serving others with selfless service, and papa is harassing other people with our thought, words and deeds. That's good enough. That's good enough. There's no heaven and no hell. And with that, I'd like to thank you all. Thank you so much for having me. Namaste. Radhe Radhe.
Dr. Sharan, we got, I think the question which he asked, we got an answer in Dubai. If you do pap, that is throw garbage on the street, you go to hell. In the sense you are paying a fine, a big one. So I think that is the policy to make people understand that if you do bad, you're penalized. So with that, I'll call in Ajay ji. Achha. Okay, so with this wonderful session, now we'll have the blessings of Guruji, and tomorrow we have another session. So anyone who's interested, please join us tomorrow also.
डोज दे दिया. अजय जी बैठ जाओ. आप लोग शांति से बैठ जाएं. हम समझ सकते हैं कि इतना लंबा बैठना आप लोगों के लिए बहुत मुश्किल है. वैसे भी 1 घंटे लॉजिक फूड 1 घंटा ही बहुत है, इससे ज़्यादा हम लोग सुन नहीं सकते हैं. सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै सुदर्शनमहाज्वालकोटिसूर्यसमप्रभ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धानां विष्णोर्मार्गं प्रदर्शय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। प्रश्नोत्तरी में आप लोगों ने खूब आनंद लिया। कई भक्तों को आलस्य आ रहा था, कईयों को आनंद आ रहा था। माँ भगवती कामाख्या की इस नगरी में भगवान शुक्लेश्वर महादेव की सन्निधि में और इस हॉल के सामने ही जगत जननी पराम्बा पराशक्ति गौ माता का गौशाला है। इन सब की सन्निधि में हम लोग केवल 2 मिनट के लिए भगवान का नाम संकीर्तन मंत्र संकीर्तन करें, जिससे जो आज का जो ये परम पवित्र गोलोक परिवार हमारे युवा गोलोक परिवार के सदस्यों के द्वारा आयोजित इस सत्संग सभा का हम लोग यहाँ आज विश्राम करेंगे। उससे पहले 2 मिनट का मंत्र संकीर्तन। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते कृष्णदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते कृष्णदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते श्यामदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते श्यामदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते रामदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते रामदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते सांब सदा शिवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते सांब सदा शिवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते प्राणदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते प्राणदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते गुरुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते गुरुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते हरिदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते हरिदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते मातृदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते मातृदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते शक्तिदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते शक्तिदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते पितृदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते पितृदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते प्राणदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते प्राणदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते प्राणदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते प्राणदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओंकारं बिंदु संयुक्तं नित्यं ध्यायन्ति योगिनः कामदं मोक्षदं चैव ओंकाराय नमो नमः। वन्दे महापुरुषते चरणारविन्दम्। पराम्बा पराशक्ति जगत जननी माँ भगवती कामाख्या माँ के परम पवित्र नगरी गुवाहाटी की ये धर्मभूमि, उसमें शुक्लेश्वर महादेव, ब्रह्मपुत्र का शीतल जल और आप सभी भक्त परिकरों की श्रद्धा भक्ति से ये सायंकालीन सभा गोलोक परिवार के द्वारा आयोजित इस सत्संग सभा में गुरु गोविंद सेवा परायण दार्शनिक प्रवक्ता डॉक्टर ब्रजबिहारी शरण जी ने आप लोगों को बहुत अच्छे भावों के साथ आपके प्रश्नोत्तरी का आनंद प्रदान किया। संगीतमय संकीर्तन के द्वारा हमारे आश्रम के पंडित नवीन जी और पंडित भंडारी के द्वारा आनंद लिया। हमारे युवा शिष्य रजत देवड़ा के द्वारा और हमारे अजय जी तो बहुत अच्छे मंच संचालक हैं, और भक्तिमती बेटी ने कीर्ति ने परिचय दिया। ये सब अच्छे सांगोपांग सत्कर्म हुए। एक ही चीज ध्यान रखिए, जितने भी हमारे प्रश्नकर्ता बहन बेटियां थी, नारायण लोग थे, आज के विज्ञान के अनुसार सारी सुख सुविधाएं हमें आवश्यक है। यदि इस हॉल में आप लोग इतनी देर बैठ पाए तो विज्ञान की कृपा से, यदि एयर कंडीशन न हो, पंखा न हो, तो बिल्कुल चारों तरफ से बंद इस हॉल में हम लोग सत्संग कर पाते। विज्ञान आवश्यक है। विज्ञान के साथ साथ में हमें धार्मिक जीवन भी आवश्यक है। कई बहन बेटियों के हम प्रश्न सुन रहे थे, क्या करना चाहिए, क्या नहीं करना चाहिए। पुरातन तो हमारे दादा दादी, नाना नानी, हमारी मातृशक्तियां जो करती आई हैं, उनको भी हम करें। अब बड़ी छोटी सी बात है कि बाल धोने की बात। पहले समय में कुएं नहीं थे, बाथरूम नहीं थे, टॉयलेट नहीं थी, माँ बहनों को कितनी परेशानी होती थी। सुबह यदि अपने छोटे और बड़े काम जो बाथरूम के दोनों कार्य हैं विकृति के शरीर के, सुबह झाड़ियों में अदृश्य होकर के माताएं बिचारी त्यागती थी। दिन भर प्रकाश में कहाँ जाएं, फिर रात्रि की तैयारी करती थी। ऐसे समय में कई बीमारियां होती थी। आज विज्ञान की कृपा से घर में अटैच बाथ कमरे हैं। तो देश काल परिस्थिति के अनुसार शुद्धता की स्थिति, धार्मिक स्थिति को निभाते हुए हमारे पूर्वजों ने समय समय पर इस धार्मिक परंपराओं में शुद्धता के साथ पुरातन परंपरा को आदर करते हुए नवीनीकरण करते आए हैं। और जितनी फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी, जितनी सुविधा हमारे सनातन संस्कृति में कहीं नहीं है। और जो हमारे अजय जी ने प्रश्न किया, ढोल गवार शूद्र पशु नारी, कई जगह तो महाराज इतना ये विवाद है। एक बार हम जर्मनी में कहीं सत्संग कर रहे थे तो बहुत अच्छी लर्नेड महिला उठी और उसने यही बात की। तो अगले बार हमने उस नारी की जगह चारी कर दिया, ढोल गवार शूद्र पशु, नारी शक्ति को हटा ही दिया। मैंने कहा कि ये विवाद का विषय, पर ध्यान रखो नारी कौन सी, मंथरा जैसी नारी, केकई जैसी नारी। और होलिका, आप लोग होली मनाते हैं, होलिका का क्या अभिप्राय है? बाल घातिनी प्रहलाद जी को गोद में लेकर के बैठी है और निरपराध भगवत भक्त को वो होलिका जलाना चाहती है। ऐसी जो नारियां हैं वो ताड़न के अधिकारी, मतलब डंडा लेके पीटना नहीं, उनको सामूहिक दृष्टि से समझाना, उनको बहिष्कृत कर देना, डंडा लेकर के मारना नहीं। और देखिए, यत्र नार्यस्तु पूज्यन्ते रमन्ते तत्र देवता। हमारे यहाँ तो मातृशक्ति का इतना आदर है। एक धर्म ऐसा भी है जहां आसाम में बहुत उनकी संख्या बढ़ रही है। बधाई हो हम इस समय की सरकार को जिन्होंने इस पर अंकुश लगाया, अन्यथा क्या स्थिति होती। एक बहन बेटियों को एक धर्म ये कहता है कि हमारे धर्म को बढ़ाने के लिए बहन बेटी फैक्ट्री है। अभी समय नहीं है। इंग्लैंड का कई एक ऐसे उदाहरण है, डॉक्टर लोग हैं, उन्होंने भारतीय सनातन धर्म की बच्चियों से विवाह कर लिया, लव मैरिज हो गया। तो डॉक्टर कहते हैं कि मेरे 6 लड़कियां हैं। मैंने कहा डॉक्टर जी बहुत दुख की बात है, तो बहुत आपको धन एकत्रित करना पड़ेगा। वो कहता महाराज जी मेरे धर्म को बढ़ाने के लिए 6 फैक्ट्रियां हैं मेरे पास, मेरे को तो चिंता ही नहीं। एक धर्म ये भी है कि जो बहन बेटियों को फैक्ट्री समझता है बाल बच्चे पैदा करने के लिए, और एक धर्म है यत्र नार्यस्त पूज्यन्ते रमन्ते तत्र देवता। हमारा सनातन धर्म कहता है कि जहां नारी के अश्रु प्रवाह होते हो वहां कभी उन्नति नहीं होगी। इसलिए वृंदा का चरित्र, तुलसी का चरित्र, आप लोग सभी सनातन धर्मावलंबी यहां बैठे हो। वृंदा कौन है? जालंधर की पत्नी है। तुलसी माता ही वृंदा है। और वृंदा माता ने हाथ में जल लेकर के कह दिया कि प्रभु आपने मेरे सुहाग को, भले मेरा दुराचारी है, व्यभिचारी है, दुष्ट है, शंकर जी का भक्त था, उसने अहंकार के कारण अपराध किया, परंतु मेरा सुहाग था, आपने मेरे से छल किया, आपने और भगवान शंकर ने। इसलिए मैं जल लेकर के आपको श्राप देती हूं कि आप अभी शालिग्राम हो जाओ, पाषाण हो जाओ। तो सत्युग की कथा, भारतीय सनातन संस्कृति को मानने वाली नारी ने भगवान को शालिग्राम बना दिया, पाषाण बना दिया। और उस शालिग्राम में क्या है? रामावतार भी है, कृष्णावतार भी है, नृसिंह अवतार भी है, 2400 अवतार स्वरूप है। आज से 800-900 वर्ष पहले मूर्तियों का आविष्कार हुआ। जितने भी हमारे यहाँ पर मूर्तियां हैं ये कलाकारों के द्वारा बनाई हुई। कुछ मूर्तियां ऐसी हैं जो स्वयं प्रकट हैं, बाके बिहारी जी हैं, राधा रमण हैं, जो शालिग्राम से निकली है। मदन मोहन जी हैं करौली में, राजस्थान में देखोगे, वो जो पत्थर है कसौटी के पत्थर में भगवान ने स्वयं अपने स्वरूप को विश्वकर्मा को आज्ञा दे करके बनाई। तो सनातन संस्कृति में इतनी समुद्र है, इतना नॉलेज है। इसलिए सनातन संस्कृति में जितना हम गोता लगाएंगे उतना ही वाई का आंसर है। तो ऐसे नारी ने भगवान नारायण को भी शालिग्राम बना दिया। तो शालिग्राम जी सत्ययुग में भी पूजे जा रहे हैं, त्रेतायुग में भी पूजे जा रहे हैं, द्वापर में भी और कलयुग में भी। चारों युग में पूजने वाले शालिग्राम भगवान, उनको बनाने वाला कौन? भारतीय नारी वृंदा जी ने बनाया। इसलिए जितना आदर सत्कार भारत की नारी का सनातन धर्म में है, मैं चैलेंज के साथ कह सकता हूं, और कहीं नहीं, कहीं नहीं। पूरे विश्व में घूम करके आओ कि भारतीय नारी का जितना आदर है। और भारत की नारी देखिए कितनी चरित्रवान है, कितनी मॉरल कैरेक्टर है। इसलिए मैं यंग बच्चों से, बच्चियों से कहता हूं, हमारा खान पान बिगड़ गया, हमारे रहन सहन बिगड़ गया, परंतु फिर भी हमारी संस्कृति महान है। इसलिए 5 चीजों पर ध्यान रखो। ब्रजबिहारी शरण जी ने बहुत कुछ कहा, और 5 चीज क्या है जो आज समाज को, पूरे विश्व को कैंसर की तरह खोखला बना रही है? वो है स्मोकिंग, ड्रिंकिंग, नॉनवेज, गैम्बलिंग, मॉरल कैरेक्टर। यदि इन 5 चीजों को संयम से रखोगे, हम परमात्मा को बिल्कुल निकट प्राप्त करेंगे। इसलिए पूरे विश्व में, आसाम में देख लीजिए, जहां अच्छे बिल्डिंग, स्मोकिंग में, सुरती पान में सारा सब आ गया। आप लोग कितने यहां बैठे, सबके मुंह में चल रहा है, और बीमारी का जड़ है। तो स्मोकिंग के अंतर्गत आ गया तंबाकू, बीमारी का घर। ड्रिंकिंग है, नॉनवेज है, गैम्बलिंग है, और मॉरल कैरेक्टर। गृहस्थी बनने के बाद तो दाम्पत्य जीवन है, ब्रह्मचर्य की परंपरा खत्म हो गई। ये 5 चीज परम आवश्यक है, ध्यान रखिए ये चीज होगा। अच्छा देखिए, और इन 5 चीजों से ही बीमारियां आती हैं। अनायास बुढ़ापे के बाद आ जाए, वो प्रारब्ध है। समय पर भोजन न करना, समय पर न सोना, और जो हमारे यहां शास्त्रीय परंपरा है, हितभुक ऋतभुक। उपनिषद क्या कहता है? हित का बोलो, हित का खाओ। यदि ये चीज हो तो ऋषि मुनि इसी तरह से तो पूजे। आज आप लोगों ने हम लोगों को ऊपर बिठाया, किस लिए बिठाया? कि आप लोग सोचते हैं कि संत हैं, महापुरुष हमसे थोड़ा सा अच्छे आहार विचार है इनका, गुरु तुल्य है। तो यदि हम भी आपकी तरह ही कोट पैंट पहन करके बैठ जाता हो, कहेंगे आप हमारे बराबर ही नीचे बैठो। तो इसलिए आचरण से मनुष्य पूछता है। इसलिए आचरण आप ठीक रखेंगे, बच्चों को भी शिक्षा दे पाएंगे। समय बहुत हो गया है, 7:30 बज गए हैं। मैं प्रभु से प्रार्थना करता हूँ कि जितने भी भक्त यहाँ बैठे हैं, जो बच्चियाँ प्रश्न करके चली गई, नारायण लोग चले गए, आशा है कि कुछ न कुछ ज्ञान लेकर के गए हैं, और जो आप लोगों के पास में अभी आनंद आया है उसको परिवार में जाके बांटें। और श्रवण मनन चिंतन निधिध्यासन, ये हमारी परंपरा है। पहले सुनो, फिर मनन करो, फिर निधिध्यासन, फिर प्रैक्टिकल अपने में चलाओ। इसी से हमारा कल्याण होगा। बाकी की चर्चा, जैसे रजत जी ने कहा कि कल वहाँ पर सत्संग में पुनः होगा, वहाँ अधिक से अधिक अंग्रेजी भी होगी और हिंदी भी होगा, जिससे दोनों ही लाभ ले पाएंगे। हमारे मन में बहुत दिनों से ये विचार था कि ब्रजबिहारी शरण जी हमारे गोलोक परिवार के बहुत अच्छे ब्रह्मचारी हैं और इन्होंने बहुत प्रगति की है। इनके पूर्वज 4 पीढ़ी पहले गयाना, सुरीनाम, कैसे कैसे परिस्थितियों में अंग्रेज लोग लेकर के गए ट्रेन के काम के लिए, शुगर की माने गन्ने की खेती के लिए कैसे कैसे लोगों ने कष्ट सहे। मॉरिशस हम गए, वहाँ पर अप्रवासी घाट देख करके रोना आता है कि आधे से लोग रास्ते में हैजा के द्वारा समाप्त हो गए। और उस समय वहाँ पर इस तरह से इन लोगों ने अपनी संस्कृति को बचाया। जब ब्रह्मचारी ब्रजबिहारी शरण जी हमको ब्रॉमले कैंट लंदन में मॉर्निंग वॉक के समय अपनी माता से छुट्टी लेके आए कि मैं गुरुजी के साथ 2 दिन रहना चाहता हूँ, और मेरे शिष्यों के यहाँ रहे, 2-4 दिन रहे। धीरे 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 इनकी रुचि इस तरफ बढ़ी, और ये शार्प माइंड, बहुत अच्छे बुद्धिजीवी बालक हैं, और उन्हें बड़े थोड़े समय में सब पढ़ाई लिखाई वहाँ की, दिल्ली आश्रम में रहे, दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी में पढ़े। जो एक बार सुन ले में वो मस्तिष्क में जैसे टेप रिकॉर्ड में रिकॉर्ड हो जाता है, ऐसी स्थिति है। तो ये मेधावी बालक है, और मेरे मन में था कि हमारे गोलोक परिवार के जितने भी यंग बच्चे हैं, आज मैं देख रहा हूँ देवड़ा परिवार के बच्चे, हमारे जालान परिवार के और झुंझुनवाला जी के बेटे, सब बच्चों ने काम छोड़ छोड़ करके हम लोग की सेवा की। और शिलोंग में गए तो वहाँ विशाल और विकास और ज्योति ने, तो जितने भी छोटे छोटे बच्चे, क्योंकि हमारी भविष्य पीढ़ी तो आप ही लोग हैं, तो यंग बच्चों ने खूब इसका आनंद लिया। कल परसों और 2 दिन और ले सकते हैं। ब्रजबिहारी शरण जी के साथ में प्रश्नोत्तरी आप लोग करें। कल तो रात्रि को मैं तो चला जाऊंगा वृंदावन, और ये फिर रहेंगे। परसों फिर पूना है, पूना के बाद कलकत्ते से वृंदावन जाके प्रणाम करके फिर ये अपने पढ़ाने के लिए 19-20 तारीख को चले जाएंगे वाशिंगटन DC। मेरी यही भावना थी कि हमारे आसाम के जितने भी भक्त हैं, जो भी भक्त गोलोक परिवार जुड़ा है आश्रम से, वो इनके विचारों को सुने। हमें प्रसन्नता है आप लोगों ने ब्रजबिहारी शरण जी को सुना, पर सुनने के साथ साथ में अहिंसा परमो धर्मः, जो महावीर स्वामी ने कहा, हमारे सभी जगत गुरुओं ने कहा कि हिंसा क्या है, जो अभी अभी परोपकार पुण्याय, 18 पुराणेषु व्यासस्य प्रचलद्वयम्, 18 पुराणों में 2 ही वाक्य व्यास जी महाराज ने कहे। वो कौन से? परोपकार पुण्याय पापाय परपीडनम। जो अभी अभी हमारे रवि ने प्रश्न किया, क्या पाप है क्या पुण्य है, तो बेटा एक ही चीज ध्यान रखो, परोपकार पुण्याय। मन से, वाणी से, काया से जो भी सत्कर्म करो वो परोपकार है, और मन से, वाणी से, काया से किसी का अपराध करो, किसी को दुख पहुंचाओ, वही पाप है। इसलिए मातृवत परदारेषु परद्रव्येषु लोष्टवत आत्मवत सर्वभूतेषु यपस्यति स मानवः। मानव कौन है? मातृवत परदारेषु। दूसरे की बहन बेटियां, वो हमारी बहन है, बेटी है, माँ है, बड़ी उम्र की है तो माँ है, बराबर की है तो बहन है, छोटी है तो बेटी है। ये पुरुष का भाग्य हो, ये पुरुष का भाव हो। स्त्री का भाव, पुरुष बड़ा है तो पिता तुल्य है, बराबर का है तो भाई है, और छोटा है तो पुत्र तुल्य है। तो समाज, सनातन धर्म ने दोनों का समन्वय किया। इसलिए स्त्री पुरुष में कोई भी दूसरे के लिए दुर्भावना नहीं आएगी। हमारे यहाँ क्या है, करनी और कथनी अलग हो गई, टॉकिंग और प्रैक्टिकल कुछ और है। और कहा 18 पुराणेषु व्यासस्य वचनद्वयम्। इसके साथ साथ पाप क्या है? मातृवत परदारेषु परद्रव्येषु लोष्टवत्। दूसरे का जो धन है, संपत्ति है, वो विष्ठा के तुल्य है। दूसरे की कोई धन की कमी हो रही है तो हम मन मन में प्रसन्न हो कि नहीं मैं बड़ा कहलाऊंगा, उसके धन क्षति हो रही है, वो अपराध है, वो पाप है, उसके साथ दुख हो रहा है, उसके साथ ऐसी स्थिति है हम कुछ नहीं कर सकते। तो प्रभु से प्रार्थना करें, यदि हमारे साथ ये स्थिति हो, किसी के बैंक का लेन देन हो, किसी के कार्य में विफलता हो, मैं देखता हूं कई लोगों को बड़े उत्साह के साथ पूछते हैं, अरे भाई उसका क्या हुआ, उसने ऐसा क्यों किया, उसकी क्यों ये परिस्थिति क्यों हुई। ऐसा नहीं, किसी की परिस्थिति पर हंसने का, किसी की परिस्थिति पर चर्चा करने का हमको अधिकार नहीं है। हम सबके लिए प्रार्थना करें, प्रभु जैसी आज मेरी परिस्थिति है, जैसी मेरी लिविंग स्टैंडर्ड है, सभी की हो। एक चीज ध्यान रखो, धन संपत्ति ऐश्वर्य प्रभु देवे, दे करके छुड़ावे तो सबसे बड़ा दुख होता है। अमीरी देने के बाद प्रस्तुत फिर गरीबी आ जाए, उससे बड़ा नरक और कोई नहीं। इसलिए ठाकुर जी से प्रार्थना करो, हे प्रभु साधन संपन्नता वो दो जो आज दे करके जीवन पर्यंत बना रहे। उसमें कमी आती है तो प्रभु वो हम कमी सह नहीं कर पाएंगे, क्योंकि आज प्रत्येक मनुष्य सुख सुविधा का आदी हो गया है। इसलिए यही बात आ जाती है, मातृवत परदारेषु परद्रव्येषु लोष्टवत् आत्मवत् सर्वभूतेषु। जिसरे के लिए जो, दूसरे के लिए जो व्यवहार मैं करूं, या मेरे प्रति कोई व्यवहार करता है, अपशब्द बोलता है, गाली गलौज करता है, उससे मेरे को दुख पहुंचता है, तो मैं दूसरे के प्रति व्यवहार न करूं। यपस्यति समानव, वही मानव है, नहीं तो दानव है। इसलिए ये सनातन संस्कृति की जो बातें हैं, जितनी प्रश्नोत्तरी हुई जो हम लोग किए, यदि ये रोज हमारे जीवन में आ जाए तो समाज में शांति हो, झगड़ा न हो, हम एक दूसरे के प्रति ईर्ष्या द्वेष काम क्रोध लोभ मोह से बच जाएंगे। परंतु फिर भी ऐसा ब्राह्मी स्थिति पार्थ हमें भगवान से ही प्रार्थना करनी चाहिए। जैसे भगवान श्री कृष्ण ने कहा, हे पार ब्राह्मी स्थिति। ब्राह्मी स्थिति क्या? इस समय आप लोग जो बैठे हैं शांत, यही ब्राह्मी स्थिति है। इस समय काम क्रोध लोभ मोह कुछ नहीं है आप लोगों के पास, बिल्कुल शांत है, संतत्व है। और यही संतत्व ही साधुता है, यही संतत्व ही मानवता है। इसको बनाने के लिए, इसको स्थिति रखने के लिए बिनु सत्संग विवेक न होई, राम कृपा बिनु सुलभ न सोई। ये सत्संग से होता है। इसलिए इस सत्संग को आप निरंतर बनाए रखें, पुरातन पद्धति को आदर सत्कार करते हुए और नई संस्कृति को अपनाते हुए, दोनों के समन्वय के साथ बड़ों का आदर सत्कार, माता पिता गुरु की वाणी बिना ही विचार किए शुभ जाने, इस परंपरा को रखते हुए नान्यागति कृष्ण पदार विंदयो। हे प्रभु आपके चरणार विंद के बिना हमारी गति नहीं है। हम फिजिक्स पढ़ रहे हैं, फिलॉसफी पढ़ रहे हैं, दर्शन पढ़ा रहे हैं, परंतु माइंड क्या है? माइंड को कंट्रोल करने वाला तो सुपर पावर तत्व है। उस सुपर पावर तत्व को हम कामाख्या कहें, शुक्लेश्वर कहें, वृंदावन बिहारी कहें, या झुंझुनू वाली माता कहें, या सालासर के हनुमान जी कहें, तत्व एक ही है। उस तत्व के बिना हम बिना तत्व के हैं, हमारा कुछ नहीं, हम तोते हैं। इसलिए सिया राम मैं सब जग जानी, करहूं प्रणाम जोरी जुग पानी। कि हे प्रभु सर्वत्र आप विराजमान हैं, मेरी मति मेरी बुद्धि ऐसी रखिए जो मन से वाणी से काया से कोई अपराध न हो। ऐसा करते हुए आपने मुझे मानव बनाया है, मेरे में कोई काम क्रोध लोभ मोह के कारण दानवता ना आए, मानवता बनते हुए आपको मैं प्राप्त करूं। आपसे मैं आया हूं, माता पिता को निमित्त बनाया आपने इस शरीर को उत्पन्न करने के लिए, पर चैतन्य तत्व तो आपकी देन है। अंतिम में आपसे हम आए हैं, आपसे ही मिलना हमारे जीवन का लक्ष्य है। इस भावना के साथ हम चलेंगे तो हमारा जीवन कृतकृत्य होगा। इन्हीं शब्दों के साथ कल तक के लिए विश्राम करते हैं। सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः, सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, मा कस्य दुःखभाग् भवेत्। एक प्रार्थना करा देते हैं अजय जी, आप भी यहीं खड़े हो जाइए, आप भी बोलते जाए माइक में। हे हृदयेश्वर हे सर्वेश्वर, हे हृदयेश्वर हे
सर्वेश्वर
हे जगदीश्वर हे सर्वेश्वर
हे जगदीश्वर हे सर्वेश्वर
हे प्राणेश्वर करुणा सागर
हे प्राणेश्वर करुणा सागर
विनती यह स्वीकार करें
विनती यह स्वीकार करें
प्रार्थना स्वीकार करें
प्रार्थना स्वीकार करें
प्रार्थना स्वीकार करें
प्रार्थना स्वीकार करें
त्रुटि दिखा कर उसे मिटा कर
त्रुटि दिखा कर उसे मिटा कर
अपनी भक्ति प्रदान करें
अपनी भक्ति प्रदान करें
भक्ति शांति प्रदान करें
भक्ति शांति प्रदान करें
लक्ष्मी भक्ति प्रदान करें
लक्ष्मी भक्ति प्रदान करें
सुख शांति प्रदान करें
सुख शांति प्रदान करें
हे हृदयेश्वर हे जगदीश्वर
हे हृदयेश्वर हे सर्वेश्वर
हे जगदीश्वर हे विश्वम्भर
हे जगदीश्वर हे विश्वाम्बर
हे प्राणेश्वर हे प्राणेश्वर
हे प्राणेश्वर हे प्राणेश्वर
हे गोलोकेश्वर हे सर्वेश्वर
हे गोलोकेश्वर हे सर्वेश्वर
हे राधेश्वर हे प्राणेश्वर
हे राधेश्वर हे प्राणेश्वर
अपनी भक्ति प्रदान करें
अपनी भक्ति प्रदान करें
अपनी भक्ति प्रदान करें
अपनी भक्ति प्रदान करें
सुख शांति प्रदान करें
सुख शांति प्रदान करें
भक्ति शांति प्रदान करें
भक्ति शांति प्रदान करें
त्वमेव माता सविता त्वमेव त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा
त्वमेव
त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव त्वमेव सर्वं मम
देव देव
मङ्गलं भगवान् विष्णु मङ्गलं गरुडध्वज मङ्गलं पुण्डरीकाक्ष
मङ्गलाय तनो हरि
गुरुब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुर्साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः ॐ द्यौ शान्तिरन्तरिक्षगों शान्तिः पृथिवी शान्तिरापः शान्तिरोषधयः शान्तिः वनस्पतयः शान्तिर्विश्वे देवा शान्ति ब्रह्म शान्तिः सर्वगुं शान्तिः शान्तिरेव शान्तिः सामा शान्तिरेधि